Good afternoon. Happy Saturday to everyone, and happy Saturday to Kuva 99, the 99th in the line of Kuvas. Kuva, FA Cup day, Tottenham kick off at 6 p.m, which means we've got a few more hours before our weekend gets ruined. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my light there. Apologies. It's still doing. Let me know if that keeps flickering, will you?
It's mentioning Tottenham kicking off.
Yeah. It's like Stranger Things. It's like like just going mental. Let's start though before we talk about Preston. So lots of the Spurs in the nose, and all these accounts are now saying that the Pedro Porro deal could be off because they can't agree on payment terms, i.e., staggered over 3 years, 15 million a year, or whatever it may be. Are you surprised in the slightest if that was to be the case?
Let me think. I'm going to go with a no.
Yeah, I thought you might do. It has got a little bit silly now, hasn't it? It's just a little bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the beginning of the window when we're saying, what do you expect from the window? What do you hope from the window? And what do you expect? I said at the time, I think we'd drag a transfer out to the end of the window and then just get one meaningless sort of mediocre sort of loan signing instead, and that'll be it.
Right.
I was hoping I was going to be wrong, and it's dangerously close to coming true at the moment, which is shocking. Shocking not because, it's not like I want to say, oh, yeah, look at me, I'll know everything about what's happening at the club. It's the fact that I feel like I can predict what's going to happen, and it does happen. Oh my God, how depressing does it get?
I don't think it's a case anymore, Kuva, of who's right, who's wrong. I think it's just a case of when you have supported this club for this many years, it's not about being right. It's about, well, wasn't this obvious? Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. We've still got, look, nothing's going to happen today from a signing perspective. You've still got all of Sunday, Monday until 11 p.m. of Tuesday. So we've got 72 hours, if I can work out 3 days, which is 24 plus times 3. So we've got 72 hours to pull some signings out the bag. So far, the only thing we've done is, I suppose, replaced Brian Hill with another left-sided forward, so to speak. Haven't addressed the right wing back, haven't addressed centre back. At what stage does Conte go, F this, I'm going? I mean, I'm sorry, but he cannot be happy with what's going on, can he? I don't care what he says in public.
Decoding what Conte is feeling at the moment is pretty difficult. There's so many mixed messages from him. He'll say one thing, he'll say he's happy with the squad. Then he'll say he needs several transfer windows. Then he says he needs 12 to 14 players just for a foundation of a squad, which clearly means he doesn't feel he's got that at the moment. So how long is it going to take to get those 12 to 14 players in? And how close are we to it at the moment? It doesn't feel like very close, does it? Then when you look at the rate at which we're signing players or not signing them would be more accurate at the moment. How are we going to address that? How are we going to get to that basis of 12 to 14 players? Because if we're expecting Conte to re-sign, sign a new contract when we're making no real attempt to get that solid foundation in, what's he going to build? There'll be a point where he just thinks, why bother? This is never happening at this club. I think a lot of the fans are now at this point, and it seems to be a growing amount by the day. How much is that money going to keep him in this job? Because there are so many other factors with him as well. Family in Italy, he's obviously a bit homesick for it. You even get Mourinho on the other side of things, who's still got a home in London, saying, the Zaniolo might not be going out, and that's just the way it is. That Mourinho would love to be in London because it's where his family is. There are big draws for going back to where your home is. How much can he put up with it? I don't know. Who does know? It's a difficult one. The only thing you can really do is look at what has definitely happened or definitely not happened so far, and that is he hasn't signed a new contract yet.
Right.
For me, that's the underlying thing. That's the one that proves one way or another whether he's actually happy with what he's doing.
Yeah, it's becoming, for me personally, and everything we say is all opinions. It's just us personally, Kova. This is not anybody telling us to say this. It's becoming unfathomable for me, which is a lovely word, to see how he does sign a new contract. I.e., I know people keep saying, well, if they sit down with him in the summer and they promise him X, Y, Z, it will be like going from 0 to 100 in one window if we were going to suddenly start backing him with his players, the Bonucci's of this world, the Bastonis of this world. That's simply not going to happen, is it, between now and the summer?
How can it? It's way too late. You're not going to suddenly, unless you're Chelsea, and you just go in and go, there's the money you want for the player, bang, it's done. Then ask the player, do you want to come and sign for us? I don't know, what are you offering? There's your contract. Yep, I'll have that. I'm straight off, deal's done, 24 hours max.
Yeah.
We don't do that. It's always structure things and send out the vibe of, well, we kind of like you, but we're not that bothered.
Yeah.
You want to do it on the cheap. You're not really worth all that they're asking. It's just this feeling of it's a bit too much effort in a strange way, making more effort to show that you're not really making any. It's
absolutely, yeah. Counterproductive. Can any of this be attributed, Kuva, to the fact that, I mean, it seems like all we seem to be doing at the moment is looking at loans and structured payments. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm fully aware that all transfers will have some form of structure in them, unless you are one of the big clubs, right? But are we getting to the point now where we're seeing so little activity in terms of bringing in players on a full-time basis that this has surely got to have something to do with the amount of Deadwood still at the club and not freeing up that space? So what I mean by that is the fact that Ndombele, Lo Celso, Reguilon, Rode, all of these players, Winks, that, Sanchez, Davis, Royal, Spence, the fact that it's all there, is this a case of they don't want to bring in too many players to the point where they are literally overspending every single season? I'm just sitting on the fence.
Yeah. Although every single one of us would have mentioned it at some point. The transfer activity is also about what the outgoings are. But I think it's fair to say the vast majority of us also forget that at times because you're excited about the incomings. You don't get excited about the outgoings. It's like a necessary step for the whole process. But because those players aren't going out. Excuse me. And because we know Levy likes to run a tight ship when it comes to wages and you're balancing the books at the end of the day, the fact that those players are not going out to make room really handicaps the rest of it, because he either has to break his own his own model for how the transfers are done, how the overall policy is managed, or he has to do it this way. And if it's not working this way, we are screwed. It's just we've got. Well, I think we worked out a while back. There was room for like one more player or something like that before we're at capacity with foreign signings and things like that.
There's a lot of Deadwood there. Just quickly, Kova, this is doing the rounds at the moment. It's just been sent through to me by somebody. Pinch of salt as well, and Jose. I don't know why. I don't know why you've had to shout it at me, but thank you. Yes, I have seen it, and this is exactly what Jose Mourinho said. If this quote is true, the Spurs Express are saying that Jose Mourinho revealed this. I wanted to sign Kim Min-jae when I was at Tottenham. I had some FaceTime calls with him. Our bid was 5 million euros. Fenerbahce wanted 10 million for Kim, and for Tottenham, that wasn't possible at that point. Now, I take everything like this with a pinch of salt, Kuva, because nowadays I don't know who is a credible source and who isn't, because everyone thinks they know everything. I mean, but that does sound very much Tottenham Hotspur-y, doesn't it? It does definitely sound.
If that's a genuine quote from Mourinho, it's pretty damning, isn't it?
Right. So one of the most decorated managers of all time has asked for a player for 10 million pounds or euros, whatever that is, and is being told that no, we can offer half of that. I mean, I mean, now it makes sense to why it takes so long to get Pedro Porro done at 50 million or whatever he is.
Yeah, it's like fans used to celebrate this. You know, our chairman, he gets great deals over the line.
Yeah.
It's just that seemed very good. I mean, I was guilty of that to start with. I thought, oh yeah, we've got a really hard-nosed chairman who's taking no shit with the right here.
Yeah.
But way down the line, that has probably cost us more than it saved us.
Of course.
When he has no sort of appreciation of the value of the player to the team. It's all the numbers. It's the financial numbers. That's the only bit that matters to him. He seems to be blind to what's happening on the pitch, what's needed on the pitch, and the financial value attached to each player is the only benchmark for him. It's indicative of what's gone on. We've all suspected it. It's kind of nice. It's like gives you validity for some of your thoughts about the club when you see ex-managers saying this, or even the current manager.
Well, look, we'll come back to those managers in a minute. Just quickly, I want to say Levy time was the phrase you were looking for. Do you remember? And I think a lot of that was coined with the Raphael van der Vaart deal on the last day. That was probably the best deal we've ever done on a transfer deadline day, in my opinion. I know people might point to Kulu and Bentancur, but for me, the Van der Vaart one was
he was just sensational for us, wasn't he? That was a great signing.
Absolutely, and I remember
occasionally Levy gets things right. Let's face it.
Of course. Just quickly, Steve Titelbaum. Sorry if I've got that wrong, my friend. I said our academy is a huge issue, hence homegrown. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but I want to come back. Thank you so much for the super chat, Steve. And everybody, there's 100 of you in the chat at the moment. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon. Please smash the like button. Only a quarter of you have so far, so please do. I mean, what we're looking at here is AVB has come out and said things, hasn't he, in the last few years? AVB was talking about that he wanted Moutinho. He was promised Moutinho. And I think at the time he ended up getting, what's his name?
Paulinho at that point.
Possibly. I can't remember. Yeah, whether it was that or whether he was the one with who's that centre mid, the French guy we got.
Capoue.
No, not Capoue. It was the French guy. Someone tell me who's the French.
Hang on, I think I know the one you mean now. Stambouli, that's it.
Stambouli. I think it might have been him. It might have been someone else. But AVB has come out and said, look, I wanted Moutinho, who I think at the time I remember thinking, oh yeah, I'd take him. Yeah, he's a player. Didn't. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Yeah, Stambouli. We've had so much crap, I just can't remember all their names. You've got Harry Redknapp with the famous wanting Cahill and Tevez and getting Saha and Ryan Nelson. You've got Jose wanting Skriniar and ending up with Roden. You've got Conte wanting everyone who he's wanted and not getting any of them.
Huddle wanting Morientes and Eto'o and getting Bobby Zamora and Helga Postiga. Yeah, it goes on and on.
It does. And look, as far as I can see, we've built the stadium, but none of that's going to change. And this is why it doesn't surprise me. This is why I'm surprised at how many people are surprised that Conte's not being backed. It's just the way they want to run the club, right? We have to accept that until they leave, don't we?
Yeah, that's the way it's always been. I don't like these arguments we tend to have between fans about this manager signed this player.
Right.
I'll never buy into any of that. There's so few cases of the manager getting who they want. It's more a case of what they're provided with. They might ask for players and then get a second, third, fourth choice or something. Some players, that as we know for a fact now because Conte said it. The likes of Jed Spence, it's a club signing, nothing to do with him. So why, when we're so sure about saying, oh, this is a posh signing, this was a Mourinho signing.
Yeah.
I don't buy into any of that. It's a signing that happened while they're a manager. That's all.
But equally, then let's sit on the fence on this, Coover. Then, so when I keep seeing fans going, "Oh, well, Conte's not been given his signings," that's not new. This isn't a new construct. This isn't like every other manager before Conte has rocked up and been given their first, second, third, and fourth choice. It just seems like people are more angry about it now because his name is Conte.
Which last chance saloon, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It's the last chance people see as. I totally get this. Most people see this last chance we got of having a big name manager running the club. So if we don't do it now, we're screwed. So it has to be a Conte signing all the time. And I think it's that underlying word, isn't it? It's hope. We always hope that we're actually getting things right for a change. But the longer it goes on, the more we realise, no, same as always.
Do you agree with me? I mean, per se, that as much as we talk about last chance saloon with top managers, do you agree that this club isn't ready for a top manager? Like, you know, the infrastructure's there from a kind of structural perspective, but from a football ethos, from the academy, from the director of football, and how the owners want to run it, we don't need a Sunderland have just gone 1-0 up, by the way, against Fulham. Jack Clarke, that Tottenham legend. Jack Clarke has scored in the FA Cup against Fulham. And to make it the Tottenham connection continue, Tim Sherwood is reporting on the game. So anyway, do you see what I mean, Coover? Like, I genuinely believe that we could bring in Pep Guardiola and it would be like, oh my God, we got Pep. But then when Pep Guardiola's getting given Jed Spence's, and don't get me wrong, I think Pep Guardiola gets more out of players than Conte does, but still in the grand scheme of things, does it matter who's the manager of this football club?
No, of course not. If you're looking for success, forget it. Choose another club. If you're looking for a style of play, we could probably manage that. So
right,
pick your poison. We've done this so many times now. I'm of the opinion, just let the club burn. It's just tear it all down. I want something so catastrophic to happen that the chairman has to fundamentally change everything about what he's doing on the football side of things. Not ruling out resigning or even the club selling up. Whatever it takes for this to fundamentally change the football side. And like I keep repeating, get that committee of ex-players in that know how the traditions of the club, fully embrace the playing style, and continue to make appointments, managerial, director of football, scouting, everything to do with the club in that vein of how we play, how we want to play football. So when we sign players, it's not just for one manager, it's for the club, and then the manager has to fit the club.
It's a structure, isn't it? So, for example, like when you look at, you can say right now Chelsea, with like people are accusing them of this scattergun approach. Let's be honest, any manager who goes into Chelsea is going to want Nkunku. Right? I can't believe any manager in world football is going to go, oh, that bloke. Do you know what I mean? Like, same with people like Mudryk, same with people like Fofana at the back and Badiashile. It's, you know, but with Spurs, we don't have that. And this is why I've said all along, I just want us to implement a plan where the club tell us what the plan is as well. You know, not just that we start seeing it in the background. They tell us the plan. Look, for the next 3-4 years, this is what we're doing. You either like it or you don't. And because of that, we're going to lower the prices by X% or whatever. But deep down, we know that's not happening, don't we? We know that. Yeah.
A lot of us resigned to it now. There's people still clinging on to the idea that we're going to change and, you know, everything's going to come good. I understand that, but I can't agree. More and more people are just getting to the point now. We need that fundamental change. It's just going round and round in circles, same thing over and over. What is the point? I can't even get excited about games anymore. Today, for example, FA Cup should be all over that. I just couldn't give a shit. I'll look at the result. I'm not even bothered about watching it that much, to be honest.
Here's one, Coover. David Clark has said, is Spurs' wealth and being the 9th richest club based on the worth of the stadium and training ground, or is it based on income?
Income. The ones I saw, it was revenue generated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that I think we're about to announce, and you know it's going to happen in about 2 weeks, don't you? That we're going to announce the yearly the yearly budgets, the budget and accounts for last year, and it's just going to show that we've made a ton of profit. And in your mind, what do you think that's going to do to the fan base when they see that we've made? I think they're talking 170 million north, right? If the fans see that and they see that our signings are a loan player in Danjuma and then possibly another loan, maybe Porro, how angry do you think that's going to make some of this fan base? And do you think that's going to wake up some of the fan base that haven't got there yet? Could that make them go, hang on, yeah, they're taking the piss?
More people will be woken up by it now. I think people are looking for improvement, and if they don't get it, they're quite happy to start turning quite nastily. In fact, on the likes of Levy. However, you're always going to have a section of the fan base that are like, the rose tinted glasses aren't enough. They're more like sort of Hubble telescopes on each eye, rose tinted. The club can do nothing wrong whatsoever at any point. It's kind of religious fanaticism, zealotry. It's really weird, but I don't get it. I could get it if it was all about the team and you're just backing your team. You go, of course, you get your game head on, and we're the greatest. We're going to beat everybody. But when you're talking about that about a chairman, Jesus Christ, can't you just have a look and see all the bad and the good, and then work out which is the greater? For me, the greater is the bad that he's been doing on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
most people, I think. Well, a lot of people, anyway.
I think the tide is turning slowly as well. You know, I think I'm starting to see a lot of people. Look, I mean, I was huge going at people on Twitter 4 or 5 years ago, like calling them idiots if they were leaving in and out. And before I realised that that's really childish and silly. But those people who hated me then, we're now good friends now. Do you know what I mean? Like through actually meeting and talking about things other than that. But even those guys and girls now are starting to go, yeah, hang on, this is, you know, maybe not Enoch Levy out, but getting to the point where they're saying they've taken it as far as they can would be a polite way of putting it, right? So thank you for what you've done. Thanks for a stadium. Thanks for some of the Champions League memories. Now, could you possibly pass the baton to the next guy or girl?
It's a progressive sort of the chain of events for me. For me, it started. Well, Levy took over. Enoch took over. We got rid of George Graham, and there's all this promise of going to be playing the Tottenham way. You know, here's some money. We're going to build this new stadium. That's the plan. All these glorious new dawn for this club. And I was thinking, brilliant. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years, Huddle sacked Santini in. Complete change of style of play from, you know, the proven sort of manager at international level as well, who's doing a good job, was Huddle. Wasn't working out because of the signings not made. And then we got the Santini, who's the antithesis of all football. Is terrible to watch. And I thought, what Levy just said there was complete bullshit. It's not about the style of play, and he's just proved that by that new managerial appointment. Then when you look beyond that, and see the treatment of Martin Jol, who brought football back to the club, brought an attractive style of play, getting sacked at half-time, I thought, you know what, these people are just ruthless, and I don't believe what they say. So that's me really twigging to what they're all about. Then when we finally get to Champions League, 13 years ago now for the first time, it's supposed to be this big kick-on moment for the club, and it just hasn't been. It's a case of getting there and holding that position. Like I said, it's that feeling of got us so far, can't get us any further. Well, not can't, won't get us any further. Mm-hmm. It's a choice. Don't want to spend the extra money in pursuit of trophies because it doesn't matter. They're at that sweet spot where the club's making enough money to look like it's doing a good job, whereas it really effectively it doesn't matter. It's the off-field interest that's always going to be the big thing for Enoch. At the end of the day, they're an investment company. They are looking to make money. It's not going to be from us winning trophies. Right. It's going to be from all the other things surrounding it. All the corporate deals that go on because they've got Spurs as the face of the company at the moment. I think as soon as people start seeing all of that and realise what sort of entity Enoch is, There's no excuse any longer for backing them. It's literally become a choice of are you a fan of corporate development or are you a fan of football?
Well, but it's people like, look, fair play. Kevin comes into the chats, but I mean, this is the sort of thing that we get. It's, Levy deserves big credit for doing this deal with Porro on his terms. We can't have teams trying to pull our pants down. Levy is getting the best deal done. Let's trust him. I mean, when I see things like that, I just think some fans will never, they will never change. They will never learn. This is
how much money are we really going to be saving on this if we do it our way?
I have no idea.
If we have a guess, what, 5 million, something like that, this wouldn't be unrealistic, would it?
No.
What's 5 million worth of Pedro Porro being in the team for the last 4 weeks compared to saving that money? He could have been there for North London derby, Man City games.
Mm-hmm.
Could have might have helped turn some of those results around.
Yeah,
might have. Certainly didn't by doing nothing.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I've just flipped onto Fabrizio Romano's Twitter feed, and he's just announced a here we go for Weston McKennie to Leeds United at 33 million plus add-ons. And you look at that and you think, how can a Leeds go like
really good signing for them?
A good signing for them, yeah.
They got that US. Yeah, we said this about this the other week, didn't we?
Yeah.
USA link up in midfield for them. Everything's right about that deal. Got aggressive, hard-working players, know each other, and they can work together, developing their skills with the same team, both at club level and international level. It's borderline sensational stuff for them.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd say I'm pleased for them. They're doing things in the correct sort of way. They've got a plan there. Mm-hmm. There's a consistency to what they're doing.
He's also just announced Ben Brereton Diaz to Villarreal on a free in the summer. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
And Leicester, Tete flying into London right now. Sort of photo of him on the plane coming to do a deal. It's like
Tete. I know the name. Trying to picture who he's playing for.
I want to say, somebody will tell me, I want to say Leon. He's going to Leicester. I want to say Leon. I might be wrong.
I always have to double check with the French ones. I just don't watch the French league.
It is, but again, look. Fabrizio Romano said, understand Fulham have now submitted a new bid on Friday for Fluminense midfielder Andre. How are these clubs doing this, and yet we can't do what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us?
Again, it's all down to that rigid financial constrictions put on the team, on the spending. It's what's got us into this position of wealth, but it's also what's holding us back. So we're not going to go overboard on any deal. That means we've got to aim at low level to mid-range sort of players. Just hope so we can get a manager that puts it all together. I don't think it's Conte. I think Conte needs to be working with high-end players at all times.
Yeah,
I think we need a Redknapp type. I think we need a possibly Pochettino, but I think he's not going to have the players that he needs anyway. It's the same deal with him. He needs a massive rebuild, same as Conte does.
It's just crazy, isn't it? I mean, listen, I'm not saying I take everything Fabrizio Romano says as fact, but when he says "here we go," it's "here we go," right? He doesn't say "here we go" and they don't happen. They genuinely happen at that point. And I'm just watching Leicester and Leeds and Villa and this and that and Fulham, and you're like, what is going on? And yet still we have fans. Still, look, again, here he is again. What will always attract world-class managers and good players to Spurs is the best in the world facilities. I mean, it's...
Really?
I have no idea. Do you know what, Kevin? I'll tell you what. Do you want to come on? I'd love to have a debate with someone. Come on.
Have we looked at Sunderland's ground? It's fantastic. Doesn't mean anything, does it?
It makes you laugh, doesn't it? And for this world-class training ground that we've got, what are we bringing out of it?
Yeah,
we've got nothing in the youth. Let's be fair. Our female team isn't very good. Our youth teams aren't very good. Our first team isn't that great at the moment. We're not bringing through any young players. what is this hype and this hysteria around a stadium and a training ground? When did fans start liking that? Right? It's not their house. Like if I buy a really nice house, yeah, I'm showing it off to my friends. Do you know what I mean? Look at my new house. Look at the extension I've just built. Look at this I've done. Look, this isn't my house. This is a place where our football team plays games. Like, who cares how nice it is inside? Really?
Yeah, I mean, neither you or I sort of have the sort of room behind us turned into a shrine. I've got the flag up just because, it's something there to. I like the idea of a bird peeping over my shoulder, but usually have to pay for that. Hey, no, you see the amount of fans we got. I've mentioned this a few times recently. If you look at fans from opposition teams, they'll have posters on the wall behind them, posters of trophies being lifted and celebrations and things like that. Greatest teams in the world. I said it for Lee Gunner the other day. What's that behind you, mate? That picture? And he says, "Oh, that's the Invincibles team." And there's like the trophy being lifted in the middle. What do our fans have when it's behind them? It's a picture of the fucking stadium. That's it. That's what we have to celebrate. It's the stadium. This is football. This is peak, cutting edge, top six, elite football, celebrating the stadium and the facilities and the Audi Cup.
But sorry, just quickly, Kevin Nichols, the deal isn't done. It's not done. It's no one has confirmed it's done. It might get done, but as we sit here right now, there is nothing from the club has said it's done. Romano, David Ornstein, none of these guys have said it's done. So please, can we stop with that narrative that it's done? It's not. Has Spurs said, yeah, let's not do a Leeds, mate. Listen, I love Has. You know me, I love that line. As we said the other week, Hoover, since Leeds have done a Leeds, they've come back and spending money in transfer windows trying to be better again. And we don't. Gogomar, big up. Always in the chat. Always a big promoter. Gogomar saying, big up, Savva. Love to Kuva. Hope you're well and we win today. Listen, let's hope we do. But this is Tottenham. I won't count my chickens yet. Mark has said, I see Mourinho wanted Kim Min-jae. Absolutely, Mark. We spoke about this earlier in the show, and unfortunately, that's how we are. Stephen Hill confirming, yes, Tete is playing for Lyon. Well, he's on a flight to Leicester right now, so he'll be a Leicester City player by the morning. Kevin has said the 5 to 10 million saved on the Porro deal can potentially build up if other transfers are also saved on by doing it our way. There's no hope. When you get to this stage, that fans are worried about saving 5 million, right? What do? What? I'm baffled. Kevin, do you want to come on?
Just build up, because we're not going to end up not signing anybody at all in the window. Okay, great. How's that going to help? So we now have more money to spend in the summer that doesn't help now. I just don't get it. Perhaps then if we don't spend anything in that window as well, that'll be great, because we'll have more money in the next January window. You've got to spend. You can't just keep saving money and think this is a great thing. Other clubs get success by paying release clauses and getting the player in. Get them in early so they can play as many matches as you can get out of them as quick as you can. They've got time to adjust as well. Even if we do sign somebody at the death on this transfer deadline day, how many weeks for them to settle in? Yeah, we're talking towards getting to the end of the season before they're hitting the road, getting their feet together.
I think some of it, Kuva, is I think a lot of people think that every signing now we do on deadline day is going to do what Kulusevski and Bentancur done. Now, for me, they're the exception. That's not the rule of players joining and hitting the ground like that. So,
especially when you're talking about players from another country,
for sure,
it's regular thing that they can take a year to settle in.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is as well, I think a lot of people, what I would say is a lot of people I saw in January last year talking about who are these players? Like, they didn't know Kulusevski and Bentancur. And that was more worrying for me than the people calling them rejects. Is there are certain footballers that, all right, they might not play in the Premier League, but they've been established. These are two international footballers that have played for some big clubs. And people are going, who are they? Like people going, "Who's Dan Zuma?" What? Come on, I mean, who is he? He's not unknown. This has got to stop being a thing now. But yeah, you're right, Kuva. Does Porro come in and from game one hit the ground running, or does he need 6 months to settle in? Right,
or even more of a worry, does Conte just not rate him, and we still see Emerson Royale playing?
Yeah, madness.
It's got to the stage now. I mean, it used to be the phrase, "Don't believe anything till you see them hold the shirt." But I've taken it a stage further this season. I was saying it's not even just seeing them hold the shirt; it's seeing them actually set foot on the pitch at the beginning of a game. Yeah. Then maybe we've signed somebody for a manager.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's look, I think we've got to learn that from the summer. Is Conte came out famously, didn't he, and mentioned Jed Spence by name as a club signing. He didn't mention any of the others as club signings. But then when the others don't work out, it's he didn't want them, and then it's the whole thing is a mess. The whole thing of it is a mess. Whether they were his signings or not, I still feel that people like Basuma, we should be getting a tune out of. A player that has ripped up the Premier League for 4 years. I don't feel like there's an excuse to say, yeah, but Conte didn't want him. Because otherwise, no Spurs manager would have done anything in the last 20 years, would they? If that was the case.
Yeah. That's right.
Do you know what I mean? It's a sad state of affairs. But let's talk. What else are you expecting? Let's forget Pedro Porro for a second. If that's done, it's done. As I've said to you all week, Kuva, I've lost all excitement for the deal anyway now, just because it's dragged on for so long. What else are you expecting between now and Tuesday night?
Sort of an easy stroll in the FA Cup. It should be. It should be. Let's start with that. I'm going to hope that I've predicted Sonny to score a hat-trick in the FA Cup, 3-0 win. Just because I hope that happens, not because I believe it'll happen. I just think it'll be a nice sort of pick me up for him and the club, get us having a bit of a smile for preparation for Tuesday night, when everybody will suddenly be again. We finally got that through. That's the best case scenario. Is thank God we actually got the deal over the line. Mm-hmm. There's no sort of that was great. Oh, we nearly got another. It's it's really underwhelming and it's just hopeful. The rest. What am I expecting? A pretty miserable time, to be honest. Mm-hmm. The word hope always comes back with this club more than any other I've ever known. Because that's all that's left for a lot of the time. What are we going to expect? I don't know. Just disappointment. That'll be it. Disappointment in one form or another. Because even if we do get the Porro deal over the line, it's going to be a case of, what could we have done though if we really wanted to? Could we have gone in and strengthened the defence further? Could we have got that attacking mid that we're screaming out for, or the creative player of some sort in the team?
Can I just quickly say, Cooper, so it's really quickly, when people say like just chill, it's like it's not about chilling. I'm just at the point where this is how we operate, right? So for me, as I've said, if we turn around and go, if today they said, oh my God, Spurs are in talks with name a player, Spurs are in talks with Ruben Neves, right? And then the deal gets done tomorrow, I'm excited, right? I'm excited as a fan. But when you hear in Pedro Porro's name for 3 weeks, and it's like, will it be done? Will it not? Now I'm just like, oh my God, just get it done already.
It's not even that at times. Sometimes it's we get linked with a player and you're instantly sort of looking to see, are we going to have that hijacked away from us? You kind of expect it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, I think I've heard you say before, maybe we'll get another loan signing before the window ends. A lot of people have been saying that we were going to get 1 permanent and 2 loan signings. What do you see that being, Coover? If we were going to get another loan signing, what do you centre half strike? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Don't see the point in getting a loan centre half or a loan goalkeeper. It needs to be a permanent signing. You're building you're building the foundations. You don't do that on loan signings.
Yeah.
Loan signing makes sense with the, like we've done with the forward, who Dan Yuma, it should be, I think. Dan Yuma, it's because he's Dutch, as Danny was pointing out on the stream last night. He's the kind of one that makes sense as a loan signing, is to fill out because we've been short in numbers in that position. But if you are building, they've got to be permanent signings and people you are looking for a long-term, it is the foundations. You want that rock-solid foundations in for your manager. Loans at the back do not cut it. It's literally just kicking the can along the road and having to deal with it later. We're just wasting time doing it.
Well, not according to John. According to John, who's at my door? Please don't be a... No, there's no one there. Oh, it's a fox. A fox has run past my front door, so my Ring doorbell has told me all about it. It's people like this. I mean, I've heard this for maybe 40 windows in a row. Wait till the end of the window. I don't need to wait. We know how it ends. Yeah. We know how this window ends. This is not new. I hate it when people say this. And just I
love one of these speculative bits of news that came up as well today, when it said something along the lines of Skriniar is top of Tottenham's transfer priority list. Really? We're not even in negotiations with him yet. He's top of the list.
I know.
If that was true, and we're negotiating for Porro, but Skriniar, we're also negotiating for Skriniar, then I might get excited about the window, because then it's showing we're making serious attempts to strengthen at some of our weakest points. Just putting one in doesn't do enough.
Yeah,
we've got to be building something. Skriniar is definitely a building block for a solid defense. That'll be a big thumbs up. Are we going to go for him? No chance. Not even a prayer. I don't even think we'll put in an offer.
Yeah. Just quickly, XOGX Low, big up. Thank you so much for the super chat. Has said supporting Spurs is just a huge, expensive waste of time and money. When will we all learn? We're not here to compete. What are we here to do then? But the problem for me, XOGX Low, is I think some of us have learned that, but I think some other people actually like the way the club is run. Look how many people in my chat right now, if they're not trolls, which I would take people on face value and assume they're not, right? If they're not trolls, look how many people back what we do. Wait till the window's closed. It's like, oh my God, we're going with that one again. It's just too much. Kevin thinks that Maddison is coming. I can assure you, if we won't pay to get Pedro Porro over the line, we are not going to pay Leicester City in the last 3 days of the window to get James.
How much are they going to be asking? What, 70, 80 million at least?
Yeah, well, maybe we can give them 15 million a year for 4 years.
See if Leicester City accept misplaced decimal points, and you might get.
Yeah, exactly. Spurs 9501. Thank you very much for the super chat. Has said, Savva, love your show. Keep going, mate. If Conte gets us to a FA Cup final, do you think Levy will fire him to avoid having to pay a bonus? Now, Kuva, the funny thing is, and just quickly before I ask you this question and before we continue, please like the show. Please subscribe. We're on our way to 3,500, which is mad. I set myself a target of 2,500 for year one. Got 3 months before we're a year old, and we're already just under 3,200. So please smash the like button. Please subscribe.
Of course, say, mate, those are awesome figures.
Well, they're getting there. They're getting there. I think, they're getting there. I think a lot of people will hate me because they know me from Twitter, and a lot of people will like me because they like I'm honest. And Marmite, cool. I like Marmite. Kuva, this is
question, yeah.
Any other club, that sentence at the end would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
any other
it really
club,
would, yeah.
What? Sack a manager before a cup final? I introduce you to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, where this has happened. Surely they wouldn't, would they? Surely.
Just imagine if that does happen. Oh my God. That'd be Levy basically putting his head in the noose and then inviting the fans into his office to kick the stool away.
Yeah,
oh God, it would be. You know what? It's so ridiculous. I hope it's true. It's
ridiculous. It really is. It is. It's just, look, when we sacked Mourinho for a cup final, let's be really, really honest. Chances are you lose that cup final. Right? Chances are, just because it's Man City. But We've said this before. You're going into battle in a one-off game. Who do you want at the helm?
Right. For a one-off battle, any manager in the world,
right,
got to be Mourinho.
Got to be. The man wins. How many? I'd love to know. Can someone? I don't know if this would be easy to find. Someone find a stat of how many finals Jose Mourinho has played in his career versus how many finals he's won. I'm just trying to think of what he hasn't won. I don't know.
He hasn't won the UEFA Conference Cup, has he?
He hasn't won the
Europa Conference Cup. I mean,
yeah, not half. He's the only manager to ever have won it. This is the thing that makes you laugh. Like, I'd love to know. I mean, if he's played 26 cup finals, how many of those has he won, or whatever it is? But Spurs managed to sack the manager 5 days before. Now, this is where it was a travesty for me, Kuva.
Yeah.
If that happened now to Conte, our fans would go in raptures. They go in raptures about how bad this is. At the time, how many fans I saw going, good, don't like Jose. Okay.
Yeah.
But that would have been an awesome time for the supporters trust. Also for the protesters. That would have been the time where you go, hang on. This is the moment where we go, we're 5 days out from a cup final. But we didn't. It was because it was Jose.
I think at the time, to be fair, I was trying my best to try and reason it through and thinking perhaps the confrontation between Levy and Mourinho is so intense that he had no choice but to fire him at that point.
Possibly, yeah.
Which is possible, but even then, you'd think you'd hold on till after a cup final, wouldn't you?
You would, and almost then I can almost see the conversation. Someone saying, right, Jose, you're going to leave after the cup final. Him going, you know what? I'll show you. I'll win this for you. I'll show you. You know what I mean?
If you were the chairman, you could even say, all right, then win the FA Cup, and I'll start giving you some of the things you need. It would be like if you do that for me, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. But no, instead sacked. Forget it.
Yeah,
too much to expect. Get your yes man in, Ryan Mason, who's probably going to be taking over in the summer for at least 8 weeks, you'd think.
I want to come back to this statement in a minute. Kuva, can you remind me in about 5 minutes? I want to talk. Obviously, we're going to talk about Preston. And Stewie's waking up. Is he? Stewie, are you up? Are you? No, he's back down. That is what a life that is. I've had a nap. I've woken up. I've spun around twice. I'm going back to sleep. Legend.
Perfect day, mate.
What a legend he is. That little hug. There he is, and he has no idea. We can all see him. Look, he has no idea. Look, there he is. Look, there he is.
Maybe if I sort of put a bit of boot polish on my face and smash it into the brick wall a couple of times, I'll lie on my bed and do the podcast.
Oh, don't you talk about my pug. He is beautiful in every single way. All right, inside and out. He's a beautiful little boy. We'll come back to that, Louis. That comment. We will talk about obviously the starting lineup today, and because team news will be out in an hour or so. 4:45. Yeah, about just over an hour. Can't agree more, Craig. So bored of hearing this bloke's name already, and not even his fault. It's not his fault.
True.
It's like, do you know what it's like?
Is it summertime? Who was the one we're sick of hearing then? Jed Spence. There's always one that drags on for ages because somebody is involved on it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I agree. It's just
it's like, when like you were growing up and you had a mate who had a massive crush on a girl, and didn't do anything about it for years and years, and you're like, oh my God, just ask her. Do you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, ask her out already. Oh, she'll say no. Ask her out. By the time it gets to it, you're like, oh, I want you to meet my girlfriend. You're like, oh, you're all right. Because you're bored. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh God, yeah, we know all about you. Sorry, not the best analogy, but you know what I mean. It's rumbled on to the point where I'm just like, this guy's got to be shit hot now. Spending our January budget on this bloke. He needs to be shit hot.
Yeah. But it always comes back to the things we haven't done.
Yeah.
It's no good celebrating one good signing when we need 7. It's a long process of failing signings, really. Goes back to the summer. Actually, literally people saying it's the best transfer window in our lifetimes.
Oh
That's just
God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
All I could think of was he must be 12, the lad that said it.
oh, shocking. Absolutely shocking. Yeah. We are here to suffer, says Kudos. Big up, Mark Cousins. Someone says
Big up,
Spurs
mate.
over there. Someone with the old do. It's Danny Kiriakou. Back the manager, back the owners. Brilliant. Dave Clark says, watching these Spurs podcasts over the last 12 months, I can see why British people are getting scammed because Lewis Levy and Enoch are scamming Spurs fans. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Huddle Crypto said, I am a troll, but I don't back Spurs. Okay. Good. I like that. Let's talk about today's game then. By the way, I hate this comment. I hate this comment that I hear from people all the time. We're not Man City. No, we're asking to buy Pedro Porro from Sporting Lisbon. I don't believe that we're asking to spend 95 million on a Mudryk, are we?
No.
I'm watching Bournemouth. I'm watching Bournemouth whack down £30 million bids for people like Zaniolo. But yet we're not allowed to spend money because we're not Man City.
Here's the problem, Kevin. We're regularly agreeing, and lots of people I know say we need something like anywhere between 9 and up to 15 players to rebuild the squad. Why are we in that position? Ask yourself that. If we've got 100 million to spend each season, which seems a reasonable amount to have a go at because look at what we have done over the last few years, there is money available. We do have that regular revenue coming in. Why are we in a state where our squad is so bad that we need such a monumental rebuild still? If we had got that 12 to 14 players in already for a foundation of a team, as we should have, then Conte could come in and say, bang, bang, there's 2 players I want to add to this squad this season. I'll take whatever else you can do. Not worried. Just get me those 2 players in. I've got something to work with. He could say, oh, where you go. Let's see what you got. We can't do that. He has to build just to get the foundations to build. If we're signing 1 player this window, like Porro, and we've only signed what? In the summer, who did we really get? There was a definite improvement to the team overall. I think the only argument would really be on Perisic. He's probably the most consistent one there. He's going to retire in a couple of years. He'll need replacing then, so that's a short-term one. How long is it going to take to get this foundation in? Bloody impossible to do. Unless the owners realise they've made a huge mistake, put a lump sum in, you can fix it through signing players that way, or we've got to radically change the way the clubs run, incorporate the youth academy into the first team, and make sure we are supplying the first team with regular young players to step into that team, save us a lot of money, and we also have to step back a little bit on expectations for a few years while we do that. The trouble is we do neither. We don't sign the big name players to improve the first team, and the academy is almost non-existent. We have nothing of note coming out of it ever. So we're in complete limbo, and it's entirely down to the ownership. That.
So just quickly on some of the stats we asked, we've got PK who has said Jose won 5 out of 5 European finals, and he's won 11 out of 13 domestic finals. I think Anonymous Worm, I think similar figures. I think there's probably a little bit of discrepancy with what that is, but sorry, Jose won 12 out of 14. I mean, it's insane.
It's totally overrated. He lost a couple.
Yeah, of course, but this is the point. What we were saying was that's the guy you want to take you into battle.
Of course,
of course. And
for a one-off game, absolutely. Yeah.
Would he have stunk the place out?
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. Do you care if you're at the stage where you're about to win a final? No. I care if I watch it all year. Right?
Exactly, mate.
But not in a one-off game, right?
Cup games. That is just there for the result. That's all. The only bit that matters. It's the silverware.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you. League games, when you've seen it week in, week out, you want to have a bit more than that. You want to have a consistent level of football you enjoy watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Ancelotti in a one-off game over Mourinho. I mean, listen, I'd love to be titled boring and have won as many trophies as Jose Mourinho has. I feel like the boring tag that gets tagged with, that gets associated with Mourinho. Some of his teams broke records for goal scoring. Some of his teams broke records for number of points. I'm not so sure that I think people are.
I think that's why I lump Mourinho and Conte in the same bracket for this. I'll still find it boring, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's ineffective. You can score a lot of goals playing some crap football. It just Wimbledon back in the 80s won the FA Cup. They played horrendous football. It was launch it high up into the air into the opponent's box and charge at it like a pack of wild elephants.
Yeah,
it was horrendous football, but it was so effective because they worked out they would score the most goals by just lumping the ball in the opponent's box and fight for it. And it got them an FA Cup. So I don't want to support that kind of football. I hate it. But it can work if you do it correctly.
Yeah, sure. Listen, and this is what I've always said about, I've always said this, Coover. I don't oh God, the other dog's coming. I don't in any way, shape or form think Conte's a bad manager, by the way. Do I like his style? No. But that I don't think we all have to like every manager's style. There are people that hate Pep Guardiola's football. There are people that love it, right? There are people that hate Jose, love it, hate Ancelotti. That's fine. But for me, the overriding factor is if you are not winning trophies playing a style of football, then I don't care, right? If does that make sense? Oh, hang on, there's the big one. There we go. Done. Look at that. That's the defence you need. See that? No gaps in between them there, Coover. Can't play a through ball there. Look at that. That is what our centre backs need to learn.
That's end to end football.
It is indeed. Let's have a look. Simon D, big up. Thank you so much for the super chat. Has said Levy is scared of success as he knows it will build an appetite for more, and that will cost him financially. That's why he sacked Jose. Right, Simon D. This is why I constantly have the conversation with people that when they're saying, why won't he just invest to get us from 4th to 1st? And I've always said this, the financial gain from 4th to 1st doesn't outweigh what you would need to put down to get you to 1st. I.e. this, if you need to spend 200 million a window to win you a league title in 4 years, is the money he gets for winning that title, is that enough compensation for him? Not for us as fans, for him. Yeah. I mean, someone in the chat again, what's the difference in the cost and the price you get for finishing 4th versus 1st? Now, again, that's not me saying that. That's Daniel Levy. That's what he wants. Yeah. So if the juice isn't worth the squeeze for Daniel Levy, why is he ever going to change? And that is the thing that I learned the harsh lesson. Sorry, I always wanted them out. I'll be honest, when they did bring in Jose, for that brief few weeks, I thought to myself, not few weeks, up until his first window, I thought, hang on, we're going big here. Got in Jose, we're going to go big. Then we got to his first transfer window and I went, no, we're not. No, we're not. Back, everyone back to how we were. Did you see what I mean, Coover?
Yeah, it's always it's consistent things about the club, isn't it? It's always going to be that way. I mean, when we're talking about predicting what's going to happen in transfer windows, predicting what's going to happen in events in the season, and then you get proved right, there's no sense of told you so. It's more like, oh God.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just like there's a few of us doing it. We're all doing it. So many people on the stream you'd see put in the comments exactly the same things we talk about. It's it's sickening. The consistency is all the wrong consistency.
Well, I've got a good one here, Coover, for us. First of all, I'll come back to that comment in a second. Gogamart, as always, very, very generous. Much love to you. Thank you for always being a big supporter of the channel. Just a super sticker to say hi. Thank you. And hello to you. This is a comment I really want to talk about. This, interesting. Right. So big up Jay Ashraf. He has said, Savva, if we do get Porro over the line and miraculously get Skriniar and Zaniolo, what do you rate the window? And would you back off on the board? Now, Coover, I'm going to throw it to you first. But what I would like to just point out is I think Coover and I, as much as we want the owners out, I think we're quite relaxed on the board compared to a lot of other people you watch and their shows. I feel like, no,
You
Kuva.
maybe.
Okay, me maybe, but I don't feel like we spend the whole show going out, Ian, Levy out. We talk about it, but okay, go. Give me an answer to this question.
If you get Porro over the line and miraculously get Skriniar, Zaniolo, what would I rate the window? I'd say pretty good. Yep. Decent couple of signings in there. Would I back off the board? Yeah, they get a reprieve because you can't change your style just based on one window. They would have to be consistently doing that sort of transfer window. 5 or 6 in a row. That's when I'd start saying, you know what, they've changed their ways. I can get behind this now. Not seeing that on one window. And let's face it, we're talking about 3 signings there, of which we're struggling to know if we've even got one of them done.
No.
So
just quickly, Lasego, I don't love Mourinho. I'm a grown-up that can acknowledge that he's one of the best ever to do what he did. Do you know what I mean? There's movie stars that I don't particularly think are great, but you can acknowledge, look how many Oscars or whatever they've won. That's not loving someone. That's acknowledgement. Everyone keeps talking about someone in the chat called Tango. I can't say. Oh, I see. Sorry.
It's just the one trolling.
Yeah. That's fine. For me, do you know what? I completely agree with Kuva. For me, if he did do that, you turn around and say, okay, fair enough. Because that is what they should be doing. If they did that.
I'll tell you what, even Brian Daigle, if he saw that we're making good signings consistently, window after window, and backing a manager, even he would back off eventually.
Of course, but the thing is, Kuva, people were talking about what if we did this, you'd have to say sorry or whatever. That's their job. Their job is to do that, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If we went and got Skriniar, who is £20 million, because he's got a year left, 6 months left on his contract or whatever. If we got Zaniolo and Porro and Danzuma, I go, okay, good window. You've addressed a centre-half, you've addressed a right wing-back, and then you've added 2 forwards in, right? Danzuma and Zaniolo. As a football fan, you turn around and go, cool, all right. Now you go, all right, Conte, you got some more players now. And you got some players that all the fans wanted. So,
and guess what? If it did happen, and we do that consistently for a few windows, you'd then have fans saying, "Oh, well, all you Levy outers going to apologise now." No, because we're finally getting what we've been asking for. A big change in what we're doing. Anyway, what's that? I've got a question that's obviously okay.
I don't think he'll care about winning a trophy. When they want to sell, they'll sell. It's as simple as that.
The footballing success is absolutely irrelevant to them. Yeah.
I mean, if we don't know that by now, then we're never going to know that. I mean, it's an interesting one. This is the position Levy and Enoch have managed to put us in. Is we're in a position where if they don't do their jobs, they are backed by certain parts of the fan base. If they then go and do their jobs, that certain part of the fan base want the other part of the fan base to applaud them for doing their job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? The people who work for me, the people who are my employees in my team, I don't applaud them every day. I'll say, well done. And obviously, they hit their target. Good work. Great. Can I help you? All this. But they don't get a big fanfare every day when they go home for doing their job.
Exactly. You don't tip a waiter for not pissing in your soup.
Right. So they'll get the big fanfare at the end of the month where they smash target, for the quarter where they've done this great big bonus. You know, at the end of the day, that type of a transfer window that you said, Jay Ashraf, is exactly what I expect as a fan of a club in the Champions League. Yeah. And if we had that window in the summer, I think we'd be nestled in nicely in third right now. If you had Porro at right wing back all season, if you had Skriniar at centre half all season, if you had Zaniolo and Danzuma as options rather than Brian Hill and Richarlison, yeah, I think we'd be nestling nicely. But equally, it works the same way, Jay Ashraf. If that window happens, obviously I'm giving it 0 chance. If that window happens, then all the people saying none of this has got anything to do with Conte need to stop. Because then you go, well, hang on. There you go. You've just told us we've added 4 good players, plus the players he's already got. Now it's on him. Now he's got to find a formula. He's got to get the best out of these players. Let's talk about today's game, Kuva, and we can dip in and out of some of the comments. Preston away. Preston don't score many. They don't concede many. And they are your archetypal championship, dogged, rugged team, right? Has this got banana skin written all over it? Or should Spurs be dispatching a team like this with ease? Or is it somewhere in the middle?
Should dispatch them with ease, but that's why there's banana skin, isn't there? Because that's not always the case. So, yeah, well, of course, we've got to be wary. You've got to do job properly. But we should be playing at a much higher level of football than they're capable of doing. That's the point. If we do that consistently over 90 minutes, shouldn't be a problem. They will rise to the occasion. You'd expect that. Well, or they might not. They might not. You don't know what you're going to get. It's cup football, especially away from home, unfamiliar stadium. I mean, as a Premier League team, you get used to playing at Newcastle and Old Trafford and things like that. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
When you go to some of these littler clubs, different kind of vibe, different atmosphere, different travel arrangements. You're not in the sort of your comfort zone necessarily. If it gets hostile and the home crowd are really G'd up for it, which you'd expect, it can kind of get you. You're kind of taken aback on it. But you'd expect a level of professionalism that Preston can't match. And I think when we got Kane, Kulusevski, Sonny, I mean, surely you're going to put them away. Surely.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Just quickly, we'll come back to that in 1 second. I just love this. This comment just sums up. If you're a Spurs fan, no wonder you don't know what success is. Mourinho isn't that great.
He won 2 trophies
at United with a bigger team with more resources. Jose Mourinho has gone on record as to say that his biggest achievement was finishing second with that group of players, whilst winning a League Cup and a Europa League. Just wow. Just this is what we're dealing with, Kuva. Our fans don't know success so much that we...
How long was he there? 2.5 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Couple of trophies in that time's a failure.
It's madness, isn't it?
Interesting.
You've got to remember how far off Man United were from Man City.
Also, the comment from ages back, it might have been the same person, I don't know, it sounds like it. But it's saying about also got to appreciate that Arteta's taken so long to make Arsenal into a title challenging team again. And Arsenal have been in the wilderness for so long before they're a title challenging team again. Still managed to win FA Cups though, don't they?
Yeah, still managed to win trophies.
Stick over that trophy cabinet, still get something in it every couple of years. There's something going in. Not us. Yeah, all the excuses are made for us, and they're just lucky, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuva, so back to tonight's game. What sort of team are we putting out tonight? I said to Henry earlier, for me, I don't see why a team with Danzuma, Richarlison and Son should need to have a Harry Kane in it. I know Harry Kane wants to play, but
I don't think there's any need to rest players. I mean, we took the second half off against Man City. So should be all right. Probably have thoughts of Preston on their minds, just like left them ability in the dressing room at half time. I think it's the FA Cup. If we can't play a strong team and just swat them aside, go 2-3 goals up, and then you can take some of your big names off, give some of the fringe players a go, see it out. Why not?
Would you like to see Danzuma start? Would you like to see him go straight in, see what he can do? No. Why?
I'd want to see Sonny start.
Why?
I want to bring him on when there's games won. Then you just let him have a run.
What does this man have to do to be dropped? Has he got nude photos of the whole of the fan base? I just don't get it.
I just want him to get his form back, mate.
I've heard that for about 25 games this season.
Yeah, but if we drop him, and it's not going to happen. It's got to happen for me. Again, hope, isn't it? Desperation. If we're not going to get Sonny back on top form this season, winning things like the FA Cup, I don't see how we're going to do it. We need it.
I mean, look, we don't often disagree, Kuva. I massively disagree. For me, he has been shit. Get him on that bench. Get the new player in who's going to want to show what he can do for his club against Preston. Get him out there. Let him have a go at their right back all game. I'm so bored of seeing the same thing. I'm so bored of excuses for Lloris.
I want to see him. I want to see him come on at some point. I would like to see us put the game to put the game to bed, and I want to see something from Sonny like
why can't we put the game to bed with him in the team? This is a bloke that scored multiple goals in a Champions League run to the semi-final for Villarreal. Why is he going to be worried against Preston?
Well, then how is Sonny going to get his form back here? It's just choices, isn't it?
But why are we so adamant that the only answer at this club is to keep playing Son until he gets his form back? I've never known anything
because just because it's a choice, isn't it, mate? I mean, and end of the day,
we've already seen the one game Son was dropped. He came on and scored a hat-trick. Yeah. He's not been dropped since, and he looks absolutely horrific. Yet we bring in a new signing, that has got ability, no matter what people tell you. And straight away, it's like, no, let's just whack him on the bench. It's like, what are we doing? What's the point of all of this?
And then the other alternative would be, what if we do start him? He doesn't really do anything, and we're struggling. And then it'll be, what was the point in changing it as well? It's just a
try something. Like our fan base seem to be mirroring Conte. We cannot try anything, even against Preston North End in the cup. He didn't even try anything against Portsmouth at home. It's like
at the end of the day, right now, I feel like I'd prefer to see it tried in the league. I'd prefer to see us at absolute full strength in the cup and go for it. That's just my gut feeling. At the end of the day, I just do not see us winning an FA Cup unless Sonny hits form again. He is that player that can turn those.
What? Based on what? I don't care about Son. Kane's the guy. We only win a world.
I'm thinking historically, some of those big games where we shut up shop and stink the place out, and Sonny's our man for Kane the flick ball over the top. Sonny running onto. He's that kind of breakaway goal scorer. I think if we haven't got that in there. Yeah, that's just the state I see us at, mate. I think.
I know, but we don't give anyone. This is the problem. Look how much in the chat. There's 238 of you. How many of you just say yes or no? Just yes or no. How many of you would give Dan Zuma a start straight away versus wouldn't? I just can't. I just can't understand how. Aren't you? Isn't everyone bored of watching Son stick the place out?
Like I said, mate. If it was a league game, I'd be happy to start Dan Zuma.
But what's the cup? But that makes no sense. This is an easier game in essence.
Yeah, but it's one that if we screw this up, that's any chance of silverware gone.
But the difference between screwing it up or not is whether Son or Dan Zuma starts, not the other 10 players.
It's to get Son into form because we need it for later on in the competition.
But unlike you and others, I care more about Tottenham Hotspur than I do about Heung-min Son. That's the problem. Why is this whole...
That's my argument. If we get to like semis or final, we're playing, say, a Man City, which is probably likely, or a Man United. Or do I want to be relying on Dan Zuma at that point? Or do I want to have the possibility of Sonny's regained his form by that point? It's saying that, call, mate.
Sonny's never got us over the line ever. So where does that come from? He's never got us over the line ever.
Those performances against Man City in the Champions League.
No. You said to winning something. You said to winning. He's never got us over the line ever. So what does it matter
in the big games? In the big games like Man City's. I'd say we got more chance with an on-form Sonny than we have with a Dan Zuma in the team.
I just feel like I must be watching a completely different Son to everyone else this year. Like,
no, he's been poor, mate. I agree, but I'm also thinking, how is he going to get his form back if you drop him?
But Kuva, how long does that go on for? This is
the question. How long? Yeah, I don't know, mate.
I mean, I've heard this excuse. That you play him into form. You play him into form. We're now into February in 3 days' time.
Put it this way. Remember when Kane was off form at the start of last season? Would you have dropped him?
But we didn't have another striker at the club. You had no choice. We got choices.
Could have played Sonny up front by himself. We've done that before.
But hang on. But Sonny, by essence, isn't a centre forward. The difference is Harry Kane.
Yeah, different style of playing. Yeah.
Harry Kane is a centre forward. We didn't have a centre forward on the bench.
Different style of play.
We have players that can take Heung-min Son's position. I'm sorry. I feel like the whole fan base has been not the whole fan base. That's wrong. Just brainwashed by this Heung-min Son cult. I think he's so bang average when not scoring goals. It's unreal. I don't know what he does.
I agree. But
not enough to get Danzuma.
At the end of the day, we're not blessed with players we can just bring in at willy-nilly and, you know, take over easily. We're looking at Danjuma and hoping he's going to do something.
Hang on, no. You fans that don't watch him are hoping that's what he's going to do, right? This is the difference. All I hear from fans is, who is this bloke? Anyone who doesn't know this bloke and hasn't seen him play, that's on them. Clearly, they only watch the Premier League. This guy's a good footballer. This guy's a very talented lad who runs at people.
He was at Bournemouth. He was at Bournemouth, wasn't he?
So?
Well, he didn't catch my eye then.
So was Nathan Ake.
I didn't think he was all that great at Bournemouth, to be honest.
Who?
Ake.
But it doesn't matter. That's the point. That's the exact point I'm making. He was at Bournemouth.
Yeah, but this is it. He might be good. He might not, Savva.
No, it's not might be good, might not. Watch him. I'm guessing you've not watched any Villarreal games, have you?
Oh, I've not been watching Spanish games for ages, no.
Right, but so this is the thing. When people are going, well, we don't know. Well, we do know. Anyone that's watched him will tell you he's a good footballer. Yeah, he's a good footballer. He's got pace. From what I've seen of him, at the moment, I would have him in over Son every day of the week at the moment. I just don't understand how many more chances that we can give this guy. I don't. Sorry, this is just me. I don't.
It's always the same argument though. Is do you try and get him back in the form, or we just cut loose? Because if you're going to drop him,
why does it have to be either? Why can't he be dropped for a couple of games? What's wrong with sitting his arse on the bench for a couple of games?
So why does it have to be this one?
Because we've literally just brought in a new guy that will be desperate to show his new club what he can do.
So perhaps he needs a couple of weeks just to adjust to the squad. I don't know. Easiest way will be see what Conte does, won't it?
No, because we know what Conte does. Conte does not change.
It's circular argument, mate. It doesn't matter.
It's not. It is so many people so stuck up Heung-min Son's arse. It is getting ridiculous. You bring in a bloke that can play in Heung-min Son's position, and the argument is still, I'd rather have Sonny. On what basis? On what basis? Preston North End. It's Preston North End.
Yeah. It's also our only chance of winning any silverware this season.
But are you telling me if Sonny didn't play today, the decision to not play Son and play Danzuma would be why we lose to Preston North End?
No, but we are finding ways to beat lesser teams with Sonny in the team without a problem.
But nothing to do with Sonny. That's with Kane. Kane's winning his game. Sonny's not doing anything.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
of course it matters.
The choice is: do you continue with a team that is well more than capable of winning against Preston, which it should be with Son in the team, or bring in the new bloke, drop Son, and bring in the new bloke just for the hell of it because we just signed him, even though he's had no time to really train with the team.
But couldn't that be a spark? Couldn't that be, look, Sonny, I brought this guy in. I'm going to give him a couple of games. When I bring you back in a couple of games, you've got to sort yourself out. That could be great, man management.
Yeah, could be. I agree. It's an option, isn't it? At some point, you have to make a choice one way or another, don't you? Sorry, for me, I'm just baffled. I've been having this argument about Heung-min Son all season. We're now coming into February and it's still the same excuse. Well, we've got to play him into form. He's not playing into form, is he? That's the thing. He's not being played into form. He's getting worse. It's a choice. It's a case of what's the cutoff point. I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Sorry, Robert, when you're saying agenda, please explain yourself. Agenda by who? I'd love to know, because if that's me and you're saying I've got an agenda against Heung-min Son, please come on and share those thoughts. My agenda against any footballer is if they're playing well or not. So please, could you clarify what the agenda is? Oh, yeah, of course. Kuva and I will always be fine. It's not often we disagree this much on a subject.
Yes, it is. Shut up.
See you later, Kuva. Listen, look, do you know what? You are right. I will give you that. You're right. We will see in 50 minutes' time when he announces the team. But I just feel like I want to see.
All right. Well, I'll put it another way. If Danjuma starts instead of Sonny, I will go, interesting. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
I won't be against it, but I'm going to maintain the fact that I think we need Sonny to be played into form to have a chance of winning the FA Cup. Because I think without him on form, we can't do it.
I kind of agree. Listen, I do. If I take a step back and look at it, I get it, right? This could be the game. If at the end of the game, Sonny scored a couple of goals, great. But what I don't want is the fan base to go mental. Like, oh my God, see, Sonny's back. He's amazing. No, let's get some form.
I mean, don't want to see him as sort of bundle a ball in off a couple of defenders and then claim, oh, he's back to his brilliant best sort of thing. It'll be just, nice that he scored. But I suppose the ideal way would be they both get a bit of game time and both score.
I mean, sorry, just quickly, Billy Oryx with players need time to adjust to Conte's philosophy. I'm sorry, this nonsense has to stop. I'm sorry. What philosophy? Why do players need time to adjust to Conte's philosophy? Of what?
I don't get this one. Surely Sonny is adjusted to it by now, or he's not capable of it.
Hang on. Danny Kiriakou. Oh, I can hear myself over in the background. Can everyone else hear an echo? No, it's gone.
That sounds fine to me.
Okay, 1 second. Danny Kiriakou wants to come on. I'm going to send him I'm going to send him the link. So 1 second. Danny the Bun's going to come on and tell me why Heung-min's son should never be dropped ever. This will be fun. I'm joking. I don't know what he's going to come on and say to me, by the way. Look, it's all debates. It's what football is all about, right? For me, equally, what I will say is if Danjuma does come on or does play today and isn't amazing, let's not all get on his back immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps the solution would be for an obvious one to keep everybody happy, half each or something. Yeah. Play them both at the same time. Yeah, why not?
There we go. Kulu.
There we go. Sonny through the middle, drop Kane, give him a rest.
Yeah, but he won't because if anything, he'll want Richarlison to play, if anything.
Isn't Richarlison out, though?
I don't even know anymore. Just quickly, Kafkov Gaming has said Son needs a kick up the backside, and so does Levy and Conte. Listen, I think all of them kind of need a kick up the backside in one way or another, my friend. I really wish people would stop this word agenda. I really don't like it for when someone has a football opinion and it's agenda, because normally what follows is Savva's got an agenda because Heung-min's son is Asian, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. I don't care if a footballer is blue, white, pink.
Because the obvious counter to it would be people saying Son cannot be dropped is also an agenda.
Right. Okay. Okay. There you go. Fair enough. Where is Danny the Bun? I've just sent it to you, Danny. I know you haven't read it yet. You haven't seen the blue ticks. Let's have a look. So Billy, my mate Billy, listen, I could say it's Saturday. Billy will tell you it's Monday, right? That's Billy. It doesn't matter what I say. Danjuma can't just come in and kick a player of Son's quality out the team. He needs to earn the right in training. That could kill Son completely. But dude, why sign players then? Right? And when we're talking about a player of Son's quality, Son is not of Son's quality at the moment. Son has not been of Son's quality all year.
There is something in this statement I totally agree with, though. You do have to earn it on the training pitch. I've always believed in that.
Then nothing's ever going to change. Other clubs do not do this. Other club, look at Trossard. He's come straight in. He's played a game and a half. Straight away, bang, in. Getting game time. Let's see how he does. Let's mix it up. Exactly, Phil P. I have an agenda against agendas. Exactly, Phil P.
You've got an agenda for reading out positively comments that are about agendas having an agenda.
Yeah, absolutely. George has said, Tyler has said, at John Bamford, he has a philosophy, but it's not particularly complicated one to adjust to. This is my point. When I keep hearing that Basuma wasn't ready for Conte's philosophy, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? George has said, I'm going to stand up for Kuva. I'm Son in, but Savvy, you have a good point. It's not about Son in or out. I just want to see something. I'm bored of seeing him play, if I'm really honest. I'm bored of seeing Højbjerg. I'm bored of seeing Dyer. I'm bored of seeing Royal.
On board being Spurs.
I'd love to have seen Spence given a game, i.e. Coover, the one that stands out. Forest away in the League Cup.
Yeah.
And Portsmouth at home. So when you get to the stage where you can't even give Jed Spence a game in those, you go, who's got the agenda, me or Conte? Oh, good God.
Well, that's some of the things we have to guess at as well, though, isn't it? I mean, reports about Jed Spence having a bad attitude and things.
Listen, can I just say, Coover, I would love Sonny to grab a brace today or a hat-trick if he plays. If he plays, that's the game he should be scoring goals in. This is the game where he should be going, right, I'm Heung-min's son. No offence, but you're a Preston Championship defence. I'm going to show you, right? He didn't do it against Portsmouth. Let's see. I need to see him do it tonight. Otherwise, it's getting to the point where how can we keep arguing that this bloke shouldn't be dropped?
Yeah, we are already at that point where we're arguing about it rather than agreeing on it. So yeah, it's overdue.
Yeah.
It's just the how do you approach it with the kick up the backside or the arm around the shoulder? What's he going to respond to the most?
I'll tell you what, this is a great point. Roopsy Pop, this is a phenomenal point, right? What this tells you is Spurs fans want squad depth, but unless the player coming in as good as Heung-min's son, we can never drop the aforementioned player. This is the point. I continue to agree with you. You bring in Basuma and people go, no, he shouldn't play. All right. You bring in Spence, no, he shouldn't get a game. Okay. Dan Zuma, no, he shouldn't start. It's like, well, what? I don't know.
That's for me why it always comes back to you just got to look at who Conte picks.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, isn't it? We can say whatever we want.
Agreed. By the way, I do agree with this, Tyler. I think we talked about this earlier in the week, Coover. The one thing I think you agreed with me on this is someone said, "Oh, drop Son," and then he hands in a transfer request. Well, if a so-called world-class footballer can't handle being dropped and then puts in a transfer request, that tells me everything about their mentality. Not saying I think he would do that, by the way.
He may be fragile enough to sort of go into a bit of a sulk, though. Think he's not loved.
I think he's emotional. I think we've seen that. I think we've seen him cry a few times. He gets emotional. That's cool. But that's them for Conte to put his arm around and...
That's why it's management, isn't it? It's,
of course it is.
It's all part of it.
Oh, look at this for a T-shirt. Look at this for a T-shirt. Oh,
I think, wow, Jesus Christ.
Wow. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good. Listen,
at least it brightens your day, not like Tottenham these days.
It's like you're out skiing or something.
Man.
This actually was bought for when I went skiing, but because it's a cheap one, it's actually used to be like a more fluorescent color, but it's kind of got more like
more fluorescent.
It's got more faded as time's gone on.
But it was actually skiing. Mate.
Yeah.
That's certainly exciting. Just quickly before I come to you, Danny, Jamie Allen, big up for the super chat, said, I think he's talking about Luis Diaz came in and took Yotta's spot, even though Yotta was top 5 in goals at the time. I don't want to see Son starting today. Look, I think this Son thing rumbled on a bit long, but Danny, where are you with it? Where with this situation? Would you be surprised to see Son dropped and Dan Zuma start? Would you want that? What would you want to see today against Preston?
Personally, I think Kane's not going to start. I think he's going to. As far as I'm aware, him and Richarlison are not going to play. Well, Kane might play 20 minutes or half an hour, but I'll be surprised if Kane starts, right? But then again, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised because it's Harry Kane, right? If Harry Kane goes, "I'm fit to play, boss," and the boss is like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, go on." He's like, "Yeah, right, then I'll play you," because he's got no one else who's as good as or comes close to Harry Kane, right? So he plays. If he plays, then I probably would drop Son for Dan Zuma. I definitely would, because I'm with you, Sav. I think Kuba's fucking deluded.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Kuba's fucking deluded. Yeah, he's always deluded. And you know, it's funny because it's true. What you said was true. We can't keep running Son into the ground, right? And actually keep expecting him to produce this form out of nowhere that he's going to start producing, right? As much as everyone wants to see it, the fact is that he hasn't been doing it all season. So for me, the one time we actually took him out the firing line, he came back and scored a hat-trick in a 10-minute substitute appearance, right? So just give him some time away to think about what's actually going on with him, right?
I agree.
Give him some time off the pitch. Maybe bring him on as a substitution. Let him know that if he isn't performing, that he can be dropped. It's that same thing that we went through with Dele Alli, right? Pochettino ran him into the ground, as well as kind of like we had no one to bring in for Dele Alli when he was performing bad. So Dele Alli always knew, but from subliminally as well, that he's always going to be in the team because no matter what, no one's going to take his spot. Ryan Mason or Harry Winks was never going to take Dele Alli's spot. So he knew even if he played shit, he's still going to play. And that's the problem. It's the same
Danny,
thing happening with Son a bit.
Doesn't it come to sometimes as well? I think as football fans, we just think about the team and about like these players and machines. Don't you think some of this could be mental? Like mental, not saying he's got mental health problems. I'm not suggesting that at all, but couldn't some of it be he might be mentally fatigued? He might be tired.
Yeah.
Couldn't some of it be, look, mate, you've played a lot. It's not working. Let's have a couple of games now where you don't. And then when we unleash you, come back hungry and fired up and take some time away. But I just don't see this constantly running him into the ground, playing him as getting back to form.
No, I don't think so either. I'm with you, Sav. I think the definition of what's going through Son right now is exactly that. I think it's a mentality issue. It's a confidence issue. You can see it's a confidence issue, right? Because everything he does is failing, right? He's miscontrolling the ball all the time, constantly miscontrolling the ball. His passes are too weak or they're too far. They're not accurate. He's not concentrating. He's lost his concentration. And then because of all of this, he's losing his confidence as well. And the confidence, obviously, he needs the confidence to help bring up the levels of all those things like the concentration and all that kind of stuff, the finishing, the composure. He's lost all of that, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, I think he needs to get out of the firing line, right? Because what it's doing is the worse he's playing, the more it's going to eat at him, right? And it's going to keep eating at him. And it's going to keep going through his head. Why am I still like this? Why am I still like this? And I think he needs someone to come on and just like a Dan Numa, and hopefully he can come on and actually impact the team today, right? And then it gives Son something to think about and be like, well, now I've got to actually try and find a way now to get back to where I was. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my spot, right? And I think that's what he needs. He needs a kick up the arse, basically, essentially. And
Danny, listen, what I'd like to say is...
hang on, just one comment quickly. Full ball, just very recently, I think he said something that most of us think.
That's true.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's true.
Just quickly, before I come to that, I need to address this. Right? Savva, mate, Son is class, form is temporary, and class is permanent. Messi was crap last season. Right. First and foremost, I will never, ever entertain a conversation that has Son and Messi in the same sentence. I just can't. It just doesn't ring true. We're talking about different players. Second of all, if you actually look at what Lionel Messi did last year, his goals to game and assist ratio was just absolutely ridiculous. What you mean to say is that Lionel Messi just didn't have the same season that he's used to. Because if you look at him this year, he's on fire, right? Listen, I'm not saying Son isn't a good player. I think people get me. This could be anyone. I've said it before. If Kane, like beginning of last season, if we had another centre forward, he shouldn't have been playing. But we didn't have another centre forward, right? If Kane goes for a spell, isn't that the reason why you bought Richarlison? Whatever we think of him, guys, that's completely separate. But isn't that the reason you spent 60 million on a striker? So that when Kane is injured, so that when Kane has a bad run of form, you give Richarlison a go. That's what squads do, don't they? They rotate. They get players in.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Do you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing, as much as I'd like to see Son not play, but if what's true is true, and say Richarlison's not going to start, or he's not going to play because he's had a knock, and Kane's not going to start because he's still ill, then for me, I'd have to go with Dan Numa, Son, and Kulu as the front three, and put Dan Numa up front, and at least that's the only option, unless you really, really want to take him out the firing line and you play Brian Hill instead of Son. But I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll go fully strength. But If Kane plays,
I think we'll
Son
see
has
Kane.
to be dropped.
I wouldn't, but I think we will see him.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
I think Conte kind of knows. Play Kane, and you could be 2-0 up at half time. Don't play Kane, and that shows where the club is, right?
By the way, we've really covered a lot of the latest scores, haven't we, in the show?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, do you know what? I genuinely thought there was a lot more games on today in the FA Cup than there are. I mean, for anyone that cares, in the FA Cup, Fulham are 1-1 with Sunderland. Southampton are winning 2-0. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. Yeah, there's not really a lot going on. Southampton 2-0 up against Blackpool. Please smash the like button. We have got 274 people and only 105 likes. Smash that like button. Danny, let's bring you in. Let's go back to the transfer window. We have got, let's be fair, let's forget today. We've got 3 days. We've got 72 hours to bring in two world-class centre-backs, a world-class wing-back, a world-class playmaker. What's happening?
I mean, the Porro deal was supposed to be kind of it's people been talking about in the comments, and I heard you guys speaking about it before. The stuff that I'm aware of is that the deal is still agreed, right? It's all agreed. But when I say agreed, I don't mean the deal has been signed, right? I mean it's been agreed, like it's there, ready for the paperwork to be signed. As far as I'm aware, the only thing I know that was changed, right, was that they wanted Porro to play on the weekend tonight because it's the final, right? And everything else was a distraction. Now I know Ornstein's come out today and said, look, they're Tottenham are not paying the fee and stuff like that. Or I've heard things like Sporting and moving the goalposts and all this kind of shit. To me, as far as I know, it's all distractions. And that I'd still expect it to happen on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see it go through. And the thing is, I'll tell you one thing. If it doesn't, there's only one person you blame. That's literally it. There's only one person you blame. You cannot blame anyone else because the guy has an activation clause in his contract. If Spurs wanted him that badly, they could have gone out on the 1st of January and bought him like that straight away, right? It could have bought him straight away. It could have been done. All right, it could have been done. That's as simple as that. But Tottenham are just doing everything they can just to not pay the release clause or to save a couple million or something like that. It's the typical shit you always see of them. And the stuff that the fact that Tottenham are annoyed that that Sporting wanted to use their player in a final. It's just absolutely Tottenham to a T. I mean, the worst thing is they're not paying the release clause, so why should they have a right to say if the player can play or not in a final, right? Sporting, if anything, are doing them a favor, giving them money off the release clause. They're saying, all right, do you know what? We'll go to a lower fee, just and it gives Tottenham the chance to pay over a period of time, right? So it's like it's the deal actually suits Tottenham in retrospect, but. Look, if this deal collapses now, I'm telling you now that we've literally Savva. I'm not even gonna be invested ever again in Spurs transfers until they're gone, until this scumbag board have gone. Honestly, because it would just be another transfer that they've just completely fucked up. And I don't. To be honest with you, look, I was told that we're going to get 3 players in the beginning of the window, right? 2 loan ones, 1 permanent one. Got 1 loan one. We might get another loan one, but again, it'll be an opportunity if we go for one. So it's not going to be a player we plan for.
I think what worries me is the amount of times I'm saying things like, "I expect us to pull out, prolong a transfer all the way through the window, right to the very end, and then not get it done, and we get a cheap loan signing. Well, we just get a loan signing instead." The fact that I'm thinking that is an actual strategy from the club in a way of saying we didn't spend any money because we couldn't get it done. And I'm actually thinking that's a viable strategy for them just to avoid spending altogether. It's not about me being right at that point. It's about the fact that I even think that way about my own club. Yeah, that is disturbing. It shouldn't be like this.
I agree. I'll tell you what else it shouldn't be. Shouldn't be 298 people in the chat and only 114 likes. Borodin, dude.
180 people need to get out right now.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. And please subscribe to Tottenham on Tour as well. Please subscribe to the Spurs free Spurs boys, Kuv and the Kang. Sorry, Borodin. Listen, normally I agree with everything you say, but I'm bored of being told to chill. For me, if we wanted this player, we started negotiating with him 3 weeks ago. This deal should have been done weeks ago. This is not a difficult deal to get done. This is our main target, and so I'm not saying I know that. I'm kind of deducing that by the fact that he's the one we've been in talks with all this time. Go out, get it done. He could have played v Arsenal, played v Man City, played today. So all of this, it'll be done by Monday. These fans
you would have thought a club of our size would have a deal like that and the manager's contract all wrapped up during the World Cup and ready to go on January 1st.
For sure. This is the thing. This is where I do despise the board on these matters. At the end of the day, let's be really, really honest. If this deal doesn't get over the line because they couldn't get the structure of payments right, that sits on one. That does, like Danny said, that sits on one man, right? This should not be a difficult deal for a club as rich as us to get over the line. And every summer, boys, all I ever hear is, well, the window's not shut yet. What about some planning? What about some prior planning and having these players in? How many games we played in January? I don't know, 6?
Something like
5,
that. 4,
6?
yeah.
Yeah, these new players could be the difference between losing some of the games we have and not. Maybe
Could be a difference between top 4, Sav. It could be a difference between top 4. It could be the difference between top 4.
Absolutely. It could be the difference in goal difference of 1 point. So when people say, just chill and that, it's the same every window. And you know what? We'll do it all again in the summer, Danny and Kuva.
Yeah.
We'll do this all again in the summer where people say, don't worry, window's not shut yet. Levy's doing the best.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, let's get back to today's game. In the game against Portsmouth, we saw the likes of Tanganga. We saw Sanchez. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was Tanganga, Sanchez, Davis, Royal, and Sessegnon. Can you see us going in with that again? Or are we going to see Romero? We're going to see Perisic.
Well, I'll go first. I'm hoping we see a full strength team. I really am. I think we should take this competition really seriously. We can't afford to have a mishap, go behind against Preston, and then have to bring the big guns on with half an hour to go when it's dodgy and they're shutting up shop. What do I expect us to do? It probably is going to be an understrength team. I think we're in danger of pissing away a game any moment in the FA Cup because it's just the pursuit of 4th place. That's the only thing that matters at this club from the top down. It's what the whole setup is geared towards doing. I'll worry about it. It already feels like it's another season slipping away. And this competition's last throw of the dice. That it's depressing to say that, but can't help but feel it.
I don't even give a fuck about the Premier League anymore. Like, honestly, I literally couldn't care less because, let's face it, this club are never, ever going to, under this ownership, they're never going to give a manager exactly what they need to kind of do their jobs, right? So that's why I say Ryan Mason in. I don't care who's a manager. And for me, if we've got a chance to even have a slight chance of winning a trophy like the FA Cup, I want the strongest team every single game we go into the FA Cup because I want the best chance we have of winning that because I would fucking want nothing more than to go to the Tottenham High Road, seeing them parade that FA Cup. It'll be fucking what a day. It'll be just it'll be an amazing day for the Spurs fans to come together and just celebrate an actual fucking trophy, which is the reason why we play football in the first place.
But Danny, this is what you get. I mean, who said outspend Man City or Todd Bowley? What, to bring in Pedro Porro? Bearing in mind, we've not spent a penny or window. To bring in Pedro Porro means I want to outspend Bowley or City. I mean, guys, I don't think some of our fans realise the vast sums of money flying around at Tottenham Hotspur. I don't think they understand the financials of this club.
I think some fans genuinely are fans of the financial aspects of this club. They celebrate a business.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, look, this is a point. Henry and I were talking about this earlier. There's some big clubs being knocked out in the FA Cup already, guys. You've seen Arsenal go. We've seen Chelsea go. Liverpool or Brighton will go because they're playing each other tomorrow. Now, whilst I'm guessing, I haven't checked the bookies odds, I'm guessing they've got Man City as the overwhelming favourites to win the FA Cup. But this is a competition now this year where you go, right, come on. As long as you can avoid Man City, because the moment we play a top team, we lose. You know that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So if we can avoid, let's be fair, Arsenal and Chelsea are gone. If we can avoid Man United, if we can avoid Man City, if we can avoid, I don't know.
Just a small ask, isn't it, Sav?
But look, the chances that you can get to the final without playing both of them is high, right? You might have to play one of them in the final for sure, but this year, wouldn't it just be great for us to, basically, I suppose what I'm trying to say with this, I don't want to see Conte messing about today, if I'm honest. I don't want to see, I'm not talking about Danjuma, Summer, I'm talking about the back. I don't want to see Tanganga, Sanchez, and Davis start.
No.
Right, I don't want to see any of that. There's no excuses, is there now, to not go on a cup run?
No, there isn't. There shouldn't be, unless again, like someone was saying earlier, like if Conte does choose his strongest teams and then gets towards the final, gets in the final, and then Daniel Levy's giving him a choice. Well, you got to play your strongest squad in the Premier League, and he goes, "Fuck off, mate," and then he gets sacked. If that happens, Jesus Christ, I'm going to support a different club.
Blackburn are currently beating Birmingham in the FA Cup, so there's a chance there. We'll get some of the other big Premier Division teams knocked out. We could draw Blackburn and then go and lose to them. That'll be typical us.
But by the way, what I'm not saying is that we're guaranteed to beat whoever we play if it's not Man City or Man United. What I'm saying is you fancy those odds, because what Tottenham have been very good at this year is picking off the Fulhams, the Leeds, the Wolves.
Yeah.
Right? But what we're not very good at doing is playing against the top six. And we've shown that in every single game this year. We've not beaten a top six side. Am I right?
No, we haven't.
Who's the top six?
Although we've also lost to Forest and Villa.
Sure.
Yeah,
The best thing we beat was Brighton, I think.
Okay, so Brighton and Fulham are 6th
Brighton.
and 7th. We've beat both of them once.
Yeah.
But we've not beaten a single team above us. We didn't manage to beat Liverpool. We didn't manage to beat Chelsea.
We've lost all the games, every single game, apart from one, Chelsea draw.
Yeah.
We've lost all of them.
Yeah, stop being so entitled. We played really well in half of those games. I mean, sorry, in a half of all of those.
Yeah, I was going to say what you're talking about. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I suppose one thing we don't want a replay, do we? We don't want to go there, have to take them back to the lane and have it. I'll always call it the lane, and have it have another game added to our list, along with the Champions League games and the pile up of league games.
Yeah, look, I want it for their sake. It's nice to see a littler team get a big payday, I think.
Fair enough. Let's
can
draw.
Can you do me a favour? Can you go to that comment from Mighty Spurs, a few down from where you are now? FA Cup doesn't push the club forward. That one. It's a 4 foot. Yeah, this one here. This is epitome of Spurs fans, I think. It's and they're not. And how I like to explain this is the definition of Spurs fans not understanding who runs this club and how we've been running this club for the last 22 years. What is the point of being in the Champions League? We're never going to buy the players who we need to compete in the Champions League, or to even get close to competing in the Champions League, right? What did we do in the summer? We got into the Champions League. What did we do? Nothing. We did nothing. We bought a backup player who a lot of fans still didn't really want, and some fans were just trying to make it sound better than it was, in Richarlison, right? Didn't really need him. We needed a forward, but we didn't need to spend 60 million on a forward. We needed a centre-back for 60 million, right? We needed 2 centre-backs. What is the point of being in the Champions League? I don't care about Champions League anymore. Honestly, I've just lost all care about Champions League football at this club. I don't care. I would rather win a League Cup right now, right, or an FA Cup than fucking compete for top 4. Because with this ownership, it's never changing. It's never gonna fucking change, right? Unless we can get them out of the club, or unless fans stop going, unless it, like you guys have said before, unless the club implodes and we go into relegation battles and we go like 14th, 15th, 16th in the table, then the fans might unite and think, oh, actually, are this board doing a good job or not, right? Or they might stop using the, oh, but he built the stadium excuse. Oh, but what's the lovely transfer window one? But it's not over yet. We still got to wait till the end of the transfer window, Sav. Kuva, we got to wait till the end of the next transfer window in January. And again and again and again. It's just stupid. It's the same repetitive cycle.
Champions League football, of course, and the new stadium was to help us get big name players.
Yeah. And
where are they?
Do you know what?
What's our last big name signing that we made?
Do you know what, Kuva, as well? Mighty Spur saying this. I'm telling you now, Mighty Spur, right? Kane, right, is not staying at this club. Conte, it doesn't matter if he finishes in the top 4 or not. Conte just wants to know if he's going to be given the tools that he needs to do his job, right? And that's just listening to the board, listening to him and who he wants to bring in or not and to get rid of, right? If Conte goes, it doesn't matter where we finish. It really doesn't matter. If Conte stays, Kane stays. It does not matter, right? All that matters is that if Conte is here or not, right? Kane will be. It doesn't bother me if Kane goes now. I think Kane should go. I think he should go. I think this club and the ownership of what they've done to him is fucking criminal. It's absolute criminal what they've done to him. They've treated him like absolute fucking shit, right? Because they've made false promises to him over the years. He thought the club was on the up, so he signed a 6-year contract under Pochettino. And then look what happened after that. A year after that, he signed that contract. The club went into a fucking downward spiral. And it's been doing that since.
Can I just say, it's not often I agree with this chap, but I really do agree with this. For me, I don't understand when people say it's between the two. I don't understand why top 4 and winning an FA Cup is not achievable. The big clubs have been doing this forever.
We're not a big club staff, though.
No, I know we're not. But it shouldn't be, oh my God, we've had a cup run where
I agree. No, I agree.
Where you're beating Portsmouth and Preston and, Blackburn, whatever it may be. Why should that stop us finishing 4th? The narrative for me, Kuva, I'll bring you in here. Actually, I'll come back to that in a second. Kafkov Gaming has said, yeah, we've talked about this about 9 times already today, depending on when people keep joining the show. Yeah, we did see the comments about Jose Mourinho, and we did say that it kind of sums up the football club, doesn't it? But thank you so much for the super chat. And look, maybe Jose had some merit. Kuva, the thing is, it's this notion, isn't it, that Champions League attracts the best players. Now, in essence, in footballing terms, that person is nail on the head.
Yep.
At Tottenham terms, it doesn't, i.e., if Newcastle finish top 4 this year, they're going to be attracting very good players, right? They're already attracting good players without it, the likes of Isak, Guimaraes, Botman. Now imagine what they're going to attract with Champions League football, right? If Tottenham get top 4, we go Jed Spence, Perisic on a free. Yeah. It's shocking, isn't it, mate? How fans think.
Absolutely.
Longley on a loan.
What really attracts a player? An ambitious player is going to a club that looks like they're an ambitious club. We don't fit that bill.
Kuba, do you know what? It's not even that. Do you know what it is? It's a club that has a plan, right?
That'd help, wouldn't it? Yeah.
The direction of where they want to go. Why would a player come to Tottenham, right? If we've got no plan of where we want to be as a football club? What player in their right mind is going to be like, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm going to join Spurs because, as Conte said, we're 4th, we're 7th, we're 6th. We don't even know. Yeah. Let's just go there. Yeah, let's just go there. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
We've got what looks like a very nice calf with a ensuite treatment room. I think that looks good. That.
You know what? Do you know what, boys? Yeah, I can tell you some stuff that I was told a couple of days ago by some of the 2 parents anyway have their kids who got scouted to play for Spurs at a young age, and when they went to see what it was like, in terms of how they coach the kids compared to lower league clubs like Cambridge and Norwich and other clubs like this. It's night and day. The way Tottenham run the system, I'll tell you back end, but I'm telling you, Sav, it would make you feel sick. And this is the epitome of how Tottenham as a club is run. Exactly how the academy is run is exactly how the club's run. The same way. It's disgusting.
There was somebody I spoke to much earlier in the season, might have been the end of last season, and they were talking about they took their kids around to a couple of clubs looking to get them in on the academy. They looked at ours, they looked at Man City, they looked at Everton. I think there was some others like Blackburn and places like that. And it was about 8 different clubs, and we were the bottom of that list. Out of places they'd taken. Everton, he said, was light years ahead of us. Light years ahead.
Do you know why, Kuva? Right? And because basically, like the way they are, the Spurs, right? When you go to I was talking about these kids in particular who are around the age group of 10, right? Like the parents, all the parents that come into a training ground, they're all driving in expensive Range Rovers and expensive cars and all this, right? You've got all the type of kids are all scouted from Hertfordshire. That they're a certain type of person, not even a type of player, right? It's ridiculous. Think about the high. Go on.
Sorry, can I just say there's people having a chat about my dogs being like every time they're on screen they're sedated and lazy. You do realise, right? First and foremost, if I'm not playing with them or doing anything, what do you expect them? What do you think they're going to be doing? Running around the house?
Formulate a Spurs business plan and plan for players.
I think they're just sick of Daniel Levy talk, so they just want to sleep.
Jesus Christ! You think
turn it around?
Play and
that's the scouting network.
Yeah. See, look, he heard the word Daniel Levy, and he's like, "Nah, fuck this," and turned it around.
Look, guys. I think it's interesting because again, look, we've got this. It's kind of facing off against each other here in terms of top 4 versus winning a cup. And some people say, well, people aren't going to come to a team that's just won an FA Cup. But what about all those years where we don't finish in the Champions League? Right? Because let's be fair, we just finished in the Champions League, but hadn't for 3 or 4 years. So wouldn't we have wanted to see an FA Cup win in those years? Why do fans celebrate the top 4 so much? Because even this year with top 4, has any of you enjoyed a single one of our Champions League games?
No.
Like they've all been painful. Like what is the fascination from fans of top 4 over a trophy? I get it financially. I do. I know we shouldn't. I get it.
I think it's that happy little day out midweek to watch Champions League football, even though we're not going to win anything. It's all I can see.
This comment, right, is spot on. And do you know what, Kuva? You're right. It's I think it is. People just want that extra day out and say, oh, we play on a Wednesday night, but actually we are fucking shite. That's what they should be singing. But I mean, the thing is, it's true what that guy just said in the comments. What is the point, right? We're never gonna pay the best money for the best players, right? We're just not. So I would rather see us win or try and compete to win a trophy, right? Like an FA Cup or a League Cup, than something that's unrealistic, because we're just not gonna buy those type of players to sustain a challenge in top 4. It's just not gonna happen.
It's a myth, isn't it? It is a myth. We don't use it to elevate ourselves. No. If in the summer you bring in a James Maddison, if you bring in a Skriniar, you go, that's why we got Champions League.
Yeah.
Not long on loan. Not like, okay, let's put it this way. You look at every single one of the signings we made, right? Where did they come from? And could we have got them without Champions League football? Right? So Jed Spence, of course we could have. It's Championship to Premier League. That's not even a debate. Longley on loan. Wasn't wanted by Barcelona. I didn't see many other clubs coming in for him. Basuma, from Brighton to Tottenham, in theory, the big jump, and he had a year left on his contract. He's
maybe the only one that maybe might have not have come, because if it was between like Tottenham and Arsenal, I think he would have chosen, and Tottenham weren't in the top 4 and Arsenal weren't in the top 4. I think he would have chosen. I personally think he chose us because we were at Champions League and Arsenal weren't.
Yeah,
Because
I agree with that.
Okay,
I
fair
personally think that. Yeah.
I'm not saying every player, but in general.
but yeah. In general, you're right, Sam.
When you look at it, like Richarlison, for example, Richarlison's gone from a relegation battle.
He would have come. Yeah, sure, he would have come.
Right. So,
100%.
so who have we actually bought that you go without Champions League we would never have achieved?
Maybe
that?
Perisic.
Even maybe even then. But we've got him on a free, and he's 30.
He probably would have signed a new contract to Inter or something. I mean, they were just won the league the year before that.
Yeah, it's the age-old debate, isn't it, guys? And top 4 versus trophies, but
Fraser Forster.
Fraser Forster.
He's on being our goalkeeper of the year with hardly playing.
Adoji would have come, wouldn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Would have come from, where is he now? Udinese, isn't it?
Udinese, yeah.
He would have come from Udinese to Tottenham. It's a fallacy.
It's something we need to do. I think we've been trying to do it desperately for the last few years, and that's getting rid of phrases at the club like "to dare is to do" or the game's about glory. Got to take them out because it's embarrassing to the board, isn't it?
Agreed.
I think we need to round those up, put them in a little glass box, with that little hammer next to it. Smash in case of new owner. Don't want to bring those out again. I think we need phrases like Tottenham. What's the fucking point?
Yeah. I like that. Somebody said here. Somebody said that without Champions League, I hear this a lot. Without Champions League, you won't keep Romero, you won't keep Kulusevski, etc. Let's be really, really honest, guys. And I don't know where you sit with this. I don't think either of those two are going to have any loyalty to this football club at all.
No chance.
If a bigger club comes in and puts down a big bid for Kulu, why is he going to go, nah, I don't want to join Madrid, Barcelona. I want to stay at Tottenham.
You know what, Sav? I think someone like Kulu will go to someone like Man City to be like Mahrez' long-term replacement.
Just quickly, Fulham have just conceded in the 92nd minute at home to Sunderland in the FA Cup. So that could be Fulham knocked out of the FA Cup as well. And I'm just waiting to see if it was Super Jack Clark. Just until you all start seeing tweets saying that Jack Clark should never have left and should be playing.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is it being disallowed? Oh, ignore me. It looks like it's being disallowed.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but Danny, sorry, going back to the point, I don't think it matters if we've got Champions League or not. Players like Romero and Kulusevski, Benton, whoever you want to say, the good players, if a bigger club comes in, they're going to have no reason to stay here, are they?
No, not a chance. Look, players like Kulu, I think when did you hear what Pep said after the game, right, against Man City, even though he lost? He was like, if you watch his video, he was like, Kulu, what a player. He was like, and you could see in the expression and the way he was saying it, he's like, this is a guy I want in my team kind of thing. Like, if one day I would like to see if I could do something with that guy. And when you've got someone like Pep who admires a quality player like that, you don't think all the top managers around the world can see someone like Kulu and be like, he's a fucking player. Do you think, what about Liverpool? He might be Mahrez's, he might be Salah's replacement, long-term replacement.
Let's say Mahrez was to leave in the summer.
Oh, he's gone.
Isn't that a natural replacement?
Yeah, 100%.
Natural replacement.
Kulu is going to be at the top, in the top tier of footballers in the world, right? At one point, I believe he's that good with the mentality he's got. I think he'll be in the top 15 footballers in the world.
One of the only two reasons I ever bother watching us nowadays.
Same for me.
See if Kane scores a goal and see if Kulusevski's playing well.
Yeah.
Hi, Savvy, do you remember me? I'm your old friend from college and we went to hot dog stalls together.
So, do you like the good old hot dog? Yeah.
I tell you what. Let me ask you a question.
Adam,
which college did I go to? Which college did I go to? I'll play the game with you. I'll play the game with you for a minute.
It's the hot dog stalls bit.
I know. That's the best bit.
I know. I'll tell you what. I do love a proper hot dog.
Ketchup and mustard. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
onions,
not mustard, mate. Not mustard.
Got to have onions as well.
No, you have to. Yeah, and onions.
I can't eat any heat. I can't eat any heat or spice. Can't. I'm a
Do you know,
wimp.
I used to hate mustard, Savva, right? But if you get the American diner mustard, it's quite sweet. It's not hot. Like the hot dog mustard you get, like, you know, when you go to the
Do
New
you mean
York.
that yellow mayonnaise shit?
No, not the fucking yellow mayonnaise. Mustard, actual mustard.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, just go back to the football bit.
I'll show you.
Yeah. I mean the one the Americans call a mustard, but it's actually,
Yeah.
Oh, screw that, mate.
That's
a lie.
Man United managed this window to sign Anthony, Ericsson,
Yeah.
Casemiro, Martinez. With no Champions League football.
Exactly. You don't need Champions League football. You just need money.
So, and it
Money and a vision.
money and a vision.
A vision you can buy into. Yeah.
Yeah, money and a vision. That's all you need. That's all you need. Guys, I'm gonna hang on for 10, 15 minutes if you guys are okay. I desperately want to see what
end immediately, mate.
Huh?
No, you've got to end.
No look N.
Yeah, just rip them
I
cables out.
want to see what the what the team is for.
It should be coming out in a minute. 5 minutes, isn't it? Five
Big
minutes.
up, Sonny.
Big up, Sonny.
It'll just have Son up there up front, and then others.
Absolutely.
Son in massive letters, and then just others.
Oh, big up, Eunice. Said other trophy cabinets is now filled with financial documents of excellence and certificates of our development projects. Yeah, absolutely.
All being forged by Paratici.
Absolutely. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing the team. Kevin said Martinelli has agreed to extend his contract with Arsenal. Let's have a look. I just want to quickly check. I think a few things have come through from Fabrizio Romano. Let's see which other clubs are doing what we should be doing. Leon have just signed 2 players in the last hour. They signed that Unahi from Morocco, the central midfielder, who everyone really liked.
Good player. Yep.
And they've signed a player called Matar Sarr from Heron-Veen for £13 million. See, this is what I mean. You know, when you can't compete with City and Arsenal, yet everyone else seems to have money to buy footballers. Like, even in the French league, like, they've got money.
Oh no! Apparently, we haven't got money, Sav. Yeah, we're the third richest club for match day income over a period of one season, right? And we're also the 9th richest team in the world. But yeah, we haven't got money to spend.
It does make you laugh. Savva, you went to college in Lewisham. Oh, very close. I was born in Lewisham. I didn't go to college there, mate. Good try, though.
Always had onions on yours.
Good try. Do you know what? This is I can't stand onions. I know. I hate onions.
No
I really
way.
do. I hate onions. So this definitely is not,
Get him off. Get him off.
definitely.
Definitely
Anyway, Adam, you've had your fun. I'm going to block you now. See you later. Guys, I mean, we're 1 minute out from getting the team news. I really, really hope he's not done anything to, I hope he's not cut his own nose to spite his face. I really do. Savva, mate, is Charlton your second team? No, I just worked there. My second team, if I was to have one, would be Dartford, who actually get the ball down and play better than we do. But that's a different story.
How about you, Danny? Who would be your second? If it's Spurs weren't around, who would be your team, do you reckon?
Probably my local team, Barnet.
Yeah, I'd be either Barnet, possibly Millwall.
Yeah. I mean, my local team would be a team, but I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I don't even know actually who would be in terms of Premier League team. I've got no fucking clue. I've got no idea.
I think if it had to stay London, I had to pick, I'd go for Fulham.
It probably would have been Arsenal if I
Would
wanted
you?
to, only because of what my family.
Would you like the team news? Would you like the team news? Hot off the press.
No.
Spurs have gone. Fraser Forster in goal. Tanganga, Sanchez, and Longley. Sorry, 1 second. Tanganga, Sanchez, and Longley. Kulusevski. Sorry, no. Let me start. Perisic and Doherty as the wing backs. Basuma and Bentancur with Kulusevski and Son. Oh, and Sessegnon's in there as well. So Perisic is
what? Are you
right.
fucking serious?
Let me start this again. So it's Forster in goal.
Son
Right wing back is Doherty. Left wing back is Sessegnon. Sanchez, Longley, Tanganga. Basuma and Bentancur in the middle with Kulusevski, Son, and Perisic up top.
So Perisic is left wing, Son's a striker, Kulusevski's right wing, Sessegnon left wing back, Doherty right wing back.
Yep, Son hat trick coming up. Guess
Sanchez is the fucking captain.
No, he's not.
Oh my god!
Oh god, he is.
Oh,
God, he is.
God, no.
I was going to end the show, but I feel like we've got to talk about this.
Maybe this is one of those crazy things I talked about a while ago about you maybe making Dyer a captain. Maybe it just brings something out of the player you just can't see. It's just like the added responsibility.
Well, he starts becoming a commanding centre back.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you spend so long looking at the armband on him, thinking, "What the hell is that doing there?" You don't see what his feet have been doing.
I mean, the fans can't complain that Conte hasn't tried things now.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go the other way. If we get knocked out, if we get knocked out, I'm sorry, I'm not going to.
I'm blaming this all on Conte.
This is. He's got to take it. I'm not saying we're going to lose, but if we did, that for me at the back, Sessegnon, Tanganga, Sanchez, and who's the other one I said? Longley.
Well, I've said I wanted meltdown to happen. I've never said it was going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, Paddy.
Do you know what? Do you know what the worst thing about this is, Savva? Do you know what the funniest thing about this is? That team should still go and beat Preston.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it should. Listen, Danny. We took a full strength team other than Bentancur to Nottingham Forest away in the League Cup. Nottingham Forest made 9 changes to the league game before, and we still managed. Was it 2-0?
Yeah, we lost 2-0.
Let's just take a moment to think about this. Put yourself in Perisic's shoes. He's there on the left wing. He will look round the field and see who's on the field with him. What is he thinking? From the levels he's come to going out with this team today.
But do you know what the worst thing is, Kuva? You know what the worst thing is, Kuva? Right? Perisic is now, like, I can't remember the last time he's actually played, if he has, as a winger, right, for Spurs, as like a further forward, which is actually his position. And he's gone and put the one person who's probably the worst header of a ball in our squad, right, in Son as the striker. So he's really not going to the strength of our players. Like, Son, as much as I love him and he's had a shit season, he is the most shocking header of the ball we've got in our squad.
Yeah.
And you're playing Perisic, who's the best crosser in our squad, and Kulu as well.
Well, he's just going to have to cross it along the ground, isn't he, for Son to run on?
It's the only way, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just,
I mean, I'm not saying we can't win. I don't want to get on that hype, but when I look at, you're not playing your best central midfielder, Bentancur, your best striker's not playing, your best centre half's not playing. This is a great test for me, because without Kane playing, there goes your target man out of the team.
Yep.
You're going to have to play proper football to get the ball up there now.
Yeah.
I'm just checking to see if I've got anything wrong, but I haven't. That is it, guys. That is the. Oh my God! It's like I haven't seen the subs yet. I don't know if anyone else has seen the subs.
Yeah, I'll tell you them. So on the bench, you've got Austin as the keeper, Dyer, Davis, Royale, Skip, Højbjerg, Hill, Dan Yuma, and Kane.
Wow,
that's not a bad bench.
No. Well, if you take away, I mean,
no, comparing it to the team.
Yeah.
I reckon they could take them.
Oh, fuck you know. Do you know what? I kind of just get annoyed by this, because if we do lose this is purely all Conte, and it shows that he doesn't really give a shit about winning trophies either at Spurs, if you think about it. Because if you really, really want to stick it to the club, right, or Daniel Levy, then you fucking go and play your strongest team possible to try and win this tournament.
For me, this is all about where our priorities lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is pressure on the manager to disregard the cups in favour of league position. Yeah,
100%. But I think it'll be the element, Kuvers, if we get there by luck. hook or by crook, if we get there, then it's going to be a chance. And then we have to see whether Conte has the cojones to fucking stick it to Daniel Levy and go, do you know what, Levy, get fucked. I'm playing the team who I want to play, and then see if he gets sacked or not.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting, though, if we do happen to get knocked out. Well, at some point, we're expecting to anyway, aren't we? We're not. Yeah. We're not seriously thinking we're going to win it. It's just an outside chance.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it. When it does happen, the amount of our fans that will go, yeah, it's only the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It makes you sick sometimes, really.
Yeah, it does. It does.
No ambition at the top of the club, and it's filtered down through the fans.
No.
And the fact that it was that shocking thought the other day that we're now seeing the first generation of Spurs fans to reach adulthood having not seen us win a trophy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
You know what, Kuva? It makes me sick, right? Because I'm going to be sitting here in 20 years' time with probably a kid or two, right? And then I'm going to be talking to my kids who are going to be supporting Ajax and Spurs, and they're going to have far more joy watching Ajax, right?
Yeah,
they'll have far much more joy supporting Ajax and actually experiencing winning shit, right? Even though it is the Dutch league, obviously they're going to be half Dutch, but when they go to come to Spurs and they go, okay, well, what can we get offered? And I'm going to be like, well, Daniel Levy, yeah, that's about it. No trophies, just Daniel Levy, maybe a long goal line bar, take to the longest bar in Europe. That's about it.
Exactly. I was saying this earlier. Perhaps that's the key to being a Spurs fan. Longest bar in Europe, and we've got a skywalk. Is that related somehow? Is that the plan? Get pissed up and check out.
Yeah. I think Daniel Levy's like kind of subliminal message, isn't it? Really, get pissed and walk the plank, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Get rid of the legacy, the so-called legacy fans they keep like talking about, and that's the thing. And do you know, what's funny, right? I want to just tell you about Richarlison, right? Because I was told that he was injured, day before yesterday, and that he wasn't going to play. And someone they reported initially that he was ill, but I know he's not ill. Basically, do you know whose fault it is? Why he's still injured now? It's Conte's fault, and this is where I blame Conte, and this is where I don't agree with. Look, with what Conte is doing, right? I think you got to be stupid to not see what he's doing, right? He's basically sticking it to the board. Everything he's doing is just telling the board, "Fuck you, I'm doing it my way," or not, basically. Or if you don't like it, get rid of me. That's what he's basically saying, right? That's literally a nutshell what he's saying. And the Richarlison thing, I think, is the worst decision he's made in a while, because the medical team told him not to play in the Arsenal game. He was not meant to play. He played 20 minutes in that game and he got a knock. And since that game, he's been carrying that knock, and he's aggravated the knock in the last appearance, right, he made for us. And now he could be out for another couple of weeks now, right? It's fucking stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous the way that Conte is managing some of the players at this squad. And I have to say it, because I'm actually quite pissed off that he's just going to really extreme lengths to kind of stick it to the board in a weird, fucked up way. I know I agree with some of the things he's doing, but some of the decisions, it's ludicrous in my opinion. And I want Conte to stay. I want him to be backed, just because I believe that, in my opinion, that I feel that if he's given the enough quality players, he'll be able to do far better than what he's doing now. I'm not saying he's going to produce this amazing football, but he'll be doing better than what we're doing, right? And conceding less goals. But I just think that it's just a joke, really. It's in a mess. It's an absolute mess. To do what he did with Richarlison, to not have him available, is just a massive kind of problem we've got at this club and the way it's managed.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. So has Spurs said, there lots of talk today that Hill is close to moving to Seville. And let's be honest, what we said the other day, that is why Dan Zuma was brought in. It was to cover Brian Hill going out. I don't think it was ever
the obvious move of loan one out and loan one in to replace.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted the plan. You wanted the plan, Kuva. There it is. One in, one out. Sorted.
Stupid, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is.
So talk to me then, guys. Give me your. I'm going to go for another 10 minutes. Give me. Let's get some predictions. Everyone in the chat as well. Put your thoughts in the chat. What's the score going to be today?
The score today. Oh, I mean, look, based on that team, we really should be dispatching. We should be dispatching Preston, but look, Preston are kind of sitting comfortably. I think they're mid-table, and they're only like a couple of points off the playoff places. So they're going to be a.
Hang on, here you go. So Preston North End are 11th in the championship. They've only scored 26 goals in 28 games, but equally they've only conceded 31, which is, I think,
it's not bad anyway.
I think it's like the 4th best defense in the league. So
yeah,
I mean,
for a team like us, Sav, right, who historically, if we're playing a team who sets up defensively and plays a low block, we struggle to break them down, right? So it's going to be hard. And we had to have Harry Kane score a really good goal against Portsmouth to fucking beat a League One team. So what's it going to be like beating a team that's stronger, right, than a League One team, with arguably Harry Kane's not on the pitch. So people think it's going to be an easy game. It's not. I think it'd be, again, maybe
it is.
Maybe one
sunny Ballon d'Or getting a hat trick today.
Maybe I reckon 2-1 or 2-1 Spurs.
Kuva 2-1 Spurs.
No, I'm going 3-0 Spurs. Sunny hat trick.
Still going 3-0.
Said it last night on United Spurs of America. So sticking with it. Just at some point, I'll still believe he's going to come good at some point. Please, dear God, come good at some point.
I think everyone wants him to start scoring goals. I don't think anyone's like, listen, just because I said he should be dropped, I don't want to see him play today and go, don't score, yes, you missed.
I'm going with that full delusional belief that, you know, if you believe it hard enough, it'll come true.
Fair enough. I mean, guys, just quickly, is Matar Sarr injured?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Because
I haven't heard
he's gone from 20-minute cameo to being called the best, greatest generational talent in the world.
And now not even on the bench.
To starting against Arsenal to not seeing the bloke now and he's not even on the bench. So if he's injured, cool, it makes sense. If not, I mean, what's happening there? Like,
yeah, it's a bit weird, that is. I'm not sure about that. But I think what's more weird, Sav, is the fact that Skip, he was playing ahead of Skip, and now Skip has made it on the bench ahead of him. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's got to either be an injury or Conte was really unhappy with what Sarr did against Arsenal. And you could look at the way we conceded one of the goals in particular, where the midfield had just disappeared. They're all sucked over one side of the pitch, and perhaps Conte's the sort of manager probably gets fuming mad with that, and he will drop players for it. That's it's the reason he said he wasn't picking Basuma at the start of the season. If the player doesn't grasp what's required from his way of playing football, I think he'll drop him. Yeah,
I agree. What do you guys think about kind of what he's gone with in midfield today in terms of Basuma and Bentancur as the two in the midfield? Because I think fans have actually called for them to kind of start, right? And we haven't really seen it yet. And now they're going to be able to kind of see what it's like to have. Because I think a lot of people initially at the beginning of the season, they thought, right, Bentancur and Basuma are probably going to be our two best midfielders we've got, right? And they're going to be our starting choices. But it hasn't really worked out like that. So do you think it's going to be interesting to see how them two do today with each other?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, go on, Sam.
I was just going to say, it's going to be interesting, but I mean, it's difficult because what we've been very good at with Basuma, for example, is getting him in for a game. If he doesn't set the world alight, then we don't see him again for 3 or 4 weeks. At some point, he's got to get a run of games in the team. Is a two-man midfield the best position for him? I don't think so. Against Preston, I would like to think that class will show rather than tactics. I would like to think that him and Bentancur can run a midfield against. Let's have a look. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I know that the Preston team inside out. Yeah, I mean, their midfield today is going to be. Where are we? They've got McCann, Ledson, and Whiteman in a free. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know any of them. No. I'd like to think that Basuma and Bentancur won't get outplayed Surely we won't be outnumbered by a championship team in midfield, will we?
Only at Tottenham, right?
Surely.
Yeah, it's always down to our players going to play the tactics Conte wants to do. If they do, then we shouldn't get outrun in midfield, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
we just don't see it. So I'll see whether a huge amount of change again. How are you going to get the consistency in what the manager wants? I think we're in danger on this particular game. It's down to class at the end of the day, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
we've got full internationals playing. Should be easily
There's the other word.
with Preston.
I hope we see that.
Perhaps we are losing.
I really hope we go. You know the sort of performance where you're 2-0 up at half time, you get another just after half time, and the game's done. You know what I mean? And you can.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see one of those ones where we're in the 88th minute thinking, "Oh God, please Spurs don't don't concede to get knocked out to Preston." Because what would losing today do? Because obviously the fan base at the moment is a bit fractured anyway, Kuva.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of will Conte stay? Will he go? The whole Paratici thing. Getting knocked out today would just heap on loads of pressure around the club, wouldn't it?
It's going to be a bad atmosphere if come the game Tuesday if we lose this one, because there'll be almost a sense of despair. I think at that point it'll be like both domestic trophies pissed away against your sort of lesser opposition, as it were, with due respect to Forest. That due respect is, of course, none. Yeah, we should be pissing past these teams. If we don't, it's underlying of serious problems here in the squad, and we know that. We look at the way we play, can see it's not functional at times. The very fact we get blitzed against the second half against City that easily. I mean, you look when they beat some other teams, they scrape a win against the likes of Arsenal. For them, they concede 2 against us, which is unheard of for them, and then absolutely tear us apart like we weren't even there. You know, if we fall in this sort of game, there's just no hope for this season, is there?
No, there isn't. I mean, and the thing is, we shouldn't be worried about Preston from the point of view that we're about to play AC Milan in Champions League games. You know, so if we're not gonna beat Preston North End, look, I'm not saying we're going to lose. By the way, I would like to think we could go there and comfortably win. But again, been a Spurs fan for far too many years to know that it's not that straightforward at this football club. Guys, I'm gonna leave it there because I want to go and grab some food and watch the game, and then I'm actually out from 8 o'clock at a birthday. So. Guys, any last thoughts before we close down? Any last comments?
I think we just need to do our jobs today and actually fucking win the game. I think that's the biggest thing. With the squad of players we've got, there's no excuses. I don't care. There's no excuses for Conte, no excuses for the players, no excuses for anyone, right? I think if we lose today, it's all of their faults. Conte's fault, the players' fault, all of them. And again, it's the epitome of how this club is run at the moment. It's a complete shit show.
And I think it's a bit of a side issue, but I've just realised I saw a clearer picture of some bloke's avatar, and I'm pretty sure that's Robert Lindsay from Citizen Smith back in the 80s comedy show.
Oh, this?
Yeah. Looks like Robert Lindsay to me.
Yeah, so I thought it was Frank Spencer, didn't I? I won't do my impression again.
It's similar, both beret wearing, yeah.
Yeah, I won't. Well, listen, guys and girls, thank you so much for everyone that's been with us the last couple of hours. No real shocks, I don't think, today in the FA Cup. I think Leeds have gone through, Leicester have gone through, Fulham are 1-1, but they've got a chance to go to the Stadium of Light, win that. Southampton are through. So, look, hopefully we won't be the main story of the day. I really don't want it to be Spurs getting knocked out the cup.
It's the worst thing, isn't it? Because, you know, Sam, like, we haven't seen the shock yet this round so far, and I think Tottenham is asking for it, isn't it?
Oh, good God. All right. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the super chats. Please like, please subscribe. We're chasing down.
I was wrong. It is Frank Spencer.
Oh,
God, it looks like Robert Lindsay there. Just doesn't look like Michael Crawford to me there.
See, so Savva knows best, Kuva. Savva knows best. Learn that for future shows, please. Please subscribe. As I said, I'm about 1,000 ahead of where I thought I'd be at this time of the year. So please keep it going. Help. Please go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Subscribe to the Free Spurs Boys, Kuv and the Kang. Danny, thanks for coming on, mate. Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Always pleasure.
Are you going out anywhere tonight wearing that top, or what's going on?
I'm just going to the shops to get some bits and bobs, and then come back, watch the game, eat, and that's about it. Really, got some job stuff to do.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Other than that, nothing.
Kuva, any plans to slip into a nice little pink number later?
Yeah.
If it's usual, Spurs plans to slip into a coma, maybe. Oh, sorry, Bob. Yeah, little pink number's always good, isn't it?
Absolutely. And listen, on that note, talking about little pink numbers, we are going to go. So, as always, Enoch and Levy out, and speak to you all soon.
See you later, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Are
Levy out.